So we thought Hit that like button. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. All right, shout out to you confident, intelligent, assertive men. All right. We're heading towards the end of January, and we're at a unique period right now. And as we're going into February, February in the United States is recognized as Black History Month. So there are some things that I've been wanting to talk to Black men about for a minute. So I'm just going to take the rest of this week to round this out. So to my non-black viewers, catch me on the video. To my female viewers, you'll probably want to hear some of this too, because honestly, we're going to get into black men, my professional opinion, my professional observation, my personal opinion. But I will say this, that in my professional opinion, my professional observation is the average black man is too mad to win. You're too mad to win. And we're going to have to talk about it. Understand something. Today's broadcast has nothing to do with whether or not your feelings are justified. Moderators, I want you to keep reminding people today is not about your feelings being justified. Being justified. I need you moderators to copy what I just put in there. Moderators, copy what I put in there. It's not about your feelings being justified. It's not about being right or wrong. What it's about is winning. So let me start off with saying this. Far too many black men today find themselves in a position. And let me tell you what the position is, and I'm gonna tell you what I think the position is. Honestly, here's what I think the position is. And this is a quote from an HBO show called The Corner. It came on right after The Wire. And the character Gary was a guy who had everything going for him out of the hood. He was in Baltimore, he had everything going. He actually made it out. But then he got messed around in them drugs and he got caught. And he said something that stuck with me. He said, everybody was looking at me as the one that got out, the golden goose, but nobody liked me. Everybody talked about me, but they wanted something from me. And he said, I thought if I failed, people would like me more for being like them. I need you guys to understand what I just said. The character said, I thought if I failed, instead of just getting out here winning, doing everything I needed to do, focus on my own self-interest, getting out of here on top, he said, I thought if I just went ahead and failed, people would like me more for being just like them. But what he found out is when he failed, people still didn't like him. They still did not like him. So what did Gary gain from failing? Not a damn thing. He lost his money, he lost his businesses, he lost his stocks, he lost all kind of stuff. And he just became a statistic. One of the people on the corner. And honestly, if you follow up on that show, DeAndre, his son, is dead. The only person that's still living is his ex-wife, who arguably was the one who got him involved in all this other stuff. So understand something. You worrying about what other people think about you and sabotaging yourself and making yourself fail is not going to make them like you anymore. They're not going to like you any different. So we got to talk about this. Look at the last two shows I've done. And you'll hear beards, large bushy beards, dreadlocks, tattoos, braids, or any of those kind of things. You bring up those subjects with black men talking about corporate America, and it is going to spark a firestorm of controversy. It seems like more black men than ever, today, more than ever, identify with this lone wolf, sigma male. Some people call themselves alpha males, but they're not. Introvert, or have an attitude that
It's
makes...
the goat. How are you doing, brother? I emailed you at Brain Fitness.
Okay, I'll check my email. Seem to have, or overall, whether it's lone wolves, alpha male, sigma male, introvert, whatever it is, it's an overall attitude that makes teamwork and collaboration a near impossibility. None of the things I just discussed have a thing to do with business and corporate America. Your personal expression doesn't have anything to do with getting the job done. None of it. None of this stuff. Your tattoos, your braids, your hair, your locks, whatever, has nothing to do with what's on the masthead and the company missions, the mission statement, company focus, and overall company goals and objectives, the overall company brand. Yet most Black men will fight tooth and nail, will fight you, argue you up and down that it's their right to personal expression, etc. And here's the thing. You'll fight, but then all the while knowing that you know anybody that looks like you that's doing this kind of stuff has gotten anywhere further than high-level worker, maybe supervisor or low-level management. And then what you find out is a lot of Black men for whom this applies, they're mad. They're mad because you shouldn't have to do this. The white man's this, the white man's system that, the white man's system that. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. Are Black men too are Black men too mad to compete? Are Black men too mad to win in corporate America? Are Black men too mad to win in corporate America? Meaning, you know good and damn well your image is not helping you. You know you don't look like a grown-up. You know you don't look, you know you're not being respected. You know all these things. You can see, just like I can see, that the workers versus middle management, upper management look completely different. I made an announcement on Patreon about moderators and changing a moderator status. So if you're Kashmir, did you not see the announcement on Patreon? Are Black men too mad to win in corporate America? Kashmir, did you see the announcement on Patreon? Why not? Why, why do so many Black men hate to play the corporate game? Let's get this started right out the back. I'm not talking about whether or not your feelings are justified. Well, that's a problem. If you don't check Patreon, that's a problem. That's a problem. As a moderator, I expect you to check Patreon. First off, to be a moderator, you have to be a patron. And then you have to check. See, we're going to get into it because it's not in your favor. So what? Understand something. It's not about whether or not your feelings are justified, but nothing is fair. Life is not fair. Swaggy P says, because it's not in our favor. So what? You only play games you're guaranteed to win? You're only going to do stuff where you can't lose? Only 20 to 30% of people, 20 to 30% of men are cut out to own their own business, to make their own business. Only 20 to 30% are cut out to own their own business. So understand something. That means 70 to 80% of you guys are going to be working for somebody for the rest of your life. What are you prepared to do to win? Because when you work for somebody else, there are rules. You got this other person came in and says, too many women are hired into middle management to emasculate Black men. Wah, wah, wah. Let me tell you, All of this reads like excuses. Why don't you go get the job? See, let me just tell you something. What women know and accept and act on more than men is the rules. See, far too many Black men, you want to fight the rules. You want to be rebellious to the rules. You want to say, well, it's because women. Well, go compete and take the job from her. You go do the job. See, what you're not going to hear is a lot of guys who are going to come in and say, I came in and I made myself the best of the best, and I went after what I wanted. I competed for it and I lost it. What you're going to hear is a bunch of sour grapes. Well, it's already rigged, so I shouldn't even try. Hey man, don't come over here telling me to chill. So I'm supposed to take it and add. Hey man, first off, you come to my channel and you speak with some sense. And you don't tell me what to do or not to do over here. No, I'm not misinterpreting anything. I can read. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to come to my space and operate by my rules. See, I'm the CEO over here. You can take that female mama-led energy on over there, because I guarantee you this, you have not been where I've been. You can't match my resume. You can't match my experience. You can't match my working knowledge. So you do better to sit there, shut up, and listen and learn. But like so many young Black men, you're too emotional. You're too into your feelings and always feeling like you're being disrespected or somebody's coming at you. So many of you young millennial and Generation Z Black men have such a problem with men because you got daddy issues. You see a Black man who's a corporate professional and a corporate image consultant, and you think he's dissing you. You're dumb. You're dumb. That's what people hear when they listen to some of you guys talk. They're like, wow, you're getting good counsel. And instead of just taking the good counsel, you're doing this. Because at the end of the day, understand something. If you can't deal with the fact that it's an unfair playing field, you're not tough enough to win. You don't deserve anything other than to work for somebody. It is time for Black men to grow up. 70 to 80% of you are going to have to work for somebody. You're good enough to go in there and take the scraps from the table, but you don't want to go do what it takes to win. And a big part of it is because, honestly, a lot of you guys don't want to grow up. Read some of the comments. Brother said, a favorite video out of the trio. I work in IT, and most of the guys are just loafing around over here trying to avoid responsibility. Most don't even have a plan. They're just glad to do entry-level work for the rest of their careers. So there is no crying in baseball. There's no crying for winners, for leaders. If you want to stay in the back with the women and children, then stay back there. But then you don't get to say a doggone thing. You don't get to make any excuses. If you want to stay at the entry level, you want to stay at the bottom level, then you don't get a vote. Stop crying. No one cares about your feelings. They care about, and here's the thing, you need to ask yourself, what is your resume and your abilities? What are they saying about you that your image ain't? Because you could have all the skills. A lot of you guys are smarter, better, and more competent than your manager. But why are you working for that person? If your manager is not as smart as you, and not as good as you, why are you working for them? Because they're better than you. They're better than you at a skill you don't have. This is where the rubber meets the road. Corporate IT is a true meritocracy. That is bull crap. A true meritocracy means the best worker wins. Please, please come on here and validate that point. Corporate America is not a meritocracy, and IT is no different. Understand something. Single men don't move up in leadership. That's going to be another video. Lone wolves, introverts, Sigma males, rebellious, unattached men don't move up. And for every time someone wants to pull a random out of their butt, you just further prove the point. See, what I'm talking about is structure, discipline. And this is something that men with no fathers who weren't raised by fathers have a problem with. Here are the problem areas for men raised by their mama: consistency, discipline, structure. That's what strong male leadership in your formative years gives you. And that's what corporate America is: discipline, structure, consistency. Understand something. Everything I'm talking about that black men push back on is what a father should have gave you. That's why you have so many black men that's the best option to go to the military, because it gives you consistency, structure, and discipline. Does your image match your resume or abilities? Because at the end of the day, if you went to college and then you went to professional school, grad school, whatever, you chose a career path. What are your personal goals? How does everything that you do in your work world line up with your own self-interest? What are your actual career plans? And at the end of the day, are you really out here as a grown-up? Are you actively approaching life as a man? Are you really like so many guys today and really still in high school, a high school mentality? You're approaching life as a boy, as a teenager. You're just getting by, getting a paycheck, and that's it. No real plans. So let's open it up and understand something. When you fail, people aren't going to like you anymore for being like them. They're going to actually disdain you because they're going to like, dang, man, Dwayne actually, 20 years, 15 years later, and he's still doing that same job, man. Dwayne had it all. He had all kind of opportunities. Hit the like button, folks. Hold on. Let me tell you something. Swaggy P, I need your age, job title, and highest level of education. Don't ask me another question until you give me your age, your job title, and your highest level of education that you completed. High school, college, master's, PhD. I need your age, job title, and highest level of education. Because what you find is oftentimes guys come in here and they don't know how to ask questions because they see a black man who's speaking confidently and saying things that in their gut they know are true, but they don't like it. It hurts, it bothers their feelings. And instead of being able to sit back and say, well, because you didn't have a daddy like me, so you don't know how to talk to a grown black man. So you want to fight me. You're not going to fight anything. You're 20, college student in high school. Shut up. You're 20, college student and in high school. You have no reason to question. See, this is where, young man, listen to what I'm about to say. I'm going to give you a story. When I speak at colleges and universities, I have a boilerplate speech that I give to the business school and the law school, whether University of Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, University of Central Oklahoma, University of Texas at Austin, Rice, SMU. I go in and talk about the power of image, and they pay me at least $1,500 to do a presentation for their career fair or their soon-to-be grads. Now, when I go to universities and speak, you know what I tend to get from at a predominantly white institution? These people are all ears. They're writing down, taking notes, such and so forth, blah, 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 blah. But you know what happens when I go to Langston? When I go to Prairie View? I am met. You can set your clock by it. There's always going to be one young, angry, black male there. Every time. Who's going to resist and say, you trying to get us to play by the white man's rules? I've had the president of the Student Body Association get kicked out of a meeting that the chancellor and president of the university paid me to come speak to him because he could not control his emotions. Now understand, I gave the same presentation at 8 other universities. What was the only thing different? Oh, and the funny thing, the guy who was speaking with me was an alumnus of Langston. I spent many a year at Langston. See, the problem is so many young Black men, you're angry. You're angry and you're young and you don't know what it means to be a man because you didn't have a dad. And understand something. I'm not saying your feelings aren't justified, but you need, this is why you young Black men, you're gonna need some therapy because you go out into this work world with that chip on your shoulder, they're gonna laugh at you. They're gonna work you to death and promote people above you. Ain't nobody gonna put you in a position of any responsibility. Nobody's gonna put you in a position of anything that can do any real damage. Understand something. You got a 20-year-old college student coming here asking me to justify to him. What's wrong with that picture? And it made sense to him. Are you serious-minded? It takes a serious mind. It takes a mind, it takes a man's mind, a man who understands consistency, discipline, structure, logic, and can put his emotion to the side to make a business decision. Understand something. As an entry-level worker, all you're responsible for is your little silo.
I agree on the points Mr. Samuels is making. As a 17-year corporate executive and a CEO of a growing company, he is absolutely correct. And it's not just corporate America. It's America in general. Learn the rules of America. And this is free. Smiley face.
Understand something. I'm not hurting you, young guys. No one else is talking to you like this. Again, why would I go to Langston and have the president of the student association get so mad off a boilerplate presentation that I've done 8 other universities? He stormed out. I had a written letter of apology from the dean of students, from the chancellor, asking me, please, Mr. Samuels, could you come back? That young man had anger issues because what was he hearing that 8 other people and 8 other universities didn't hear and no one else in his room here? He heard somebody was coming in and say, you got to kiss white people's ass and you got to step and fetch and you got to do this, you got to do that. No, you don't. No. See, here's the thing. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to do anything. You can go and lose and no one's going to stop you. You can go into college debt and then go out to the work world because you're not going to start your own business out of college. You're not going to do that. 70 to 80% of you guys will never go out there. You're going to be there. So for the 20 or 30% who will eventually start a business, and it's really close to 20%, you're going to fail many times. Who's going to pay you as a 23-year-old college graduate? You're at the bottom. You know nothing other than the curriculum. Where you go to school, they just certify that you can learn something. Then you got to get out there and compete with the thousands of other people who graduated from college that year. Your attitude is going to get you locked out of more positions. But let's just say you luck up and get a job. You get a job, you're at the entry level. People around the office are going to fast learn that they don't like you. They're going to fast learn that they don't like you. And then you're going to start reacting and responding to people not liking you. So then you're going to become even more difficult to deal with. And guess what? 3 years from now, when you should have been promoted, you'll still be at the entry level. 5 years from there, if you're still at the company, you'll be at the entry level. But chances are you'll transfer to quit that job and move to another company, a lateral move. You'll keep making lateral moves and you'll find out 10 years from now, you're doing the same job you were doing as an entry level right out of college. What's the common denominator? You. Because if somebody is a CEO of an organization, management or executive management, they are responsible for stockholders. They're responsible to the board, to shareholders, to stockholders. And when they put someone in charge of management, that's like making you a parent. No one is going to put you in greater responsibility over people and over an entire profit center for a company because you can't handle it. Here's what I want to do. I want to talk to you Black men who are so angry. You're mad. Because understand something. You've already raised your hand and said, I want the job. See, it would be different if you weren't working for somebody's company. If you weren't working for somebody's company, that's one thing. If you was just working fast food or some stuff like that, if you weren't working in industry, a profession, that's one thing. Or it'll be different if you were, and this is blue collar too. Blue collar, white collar. You can be a plumber. See, it'd be different if you had your own business. If you're in that 20 to 30% of people who realizes, hey man, I'm better working for myself because I'm a leader. But that's the thing. But if you're in that 80% of people that's got to work for somebody, why are you going to work mad? Knowing that mad doesn't work. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And we got 178 people watching. We're going to go for a while because I really want to talk to you guys. I want to understand what you're going through, because honestly, if you had to come try to find me as a career coach or a consultant, you'd have to hire me. You'd have to hire me, then you have to fill out your paperwork. Then you'd have to do you'd have to do some background paperwork, fill out a questionnaire, I'd have to see your resume. There's an entire process before I take on a career evaluation. Then you'd sit down in front of me, and then I give you my evaluation. Understand something, Jedi. Understand something, Jedi. If Swaggy P had to pay me $849 for my professional opinion, I guarantee you he would not be coming in here talking the way he's talking now. What do you think? What do you guys think? Black Ocean, what do you think? If Swaggy P had to actually go in his pocket and give me $850 for my professional opinion, because the university said you cannot graduate until you talk to this man. You got to figure it out. Because see, he wouldn't go do it voluntarily. But if people he respected and admired said, you have to get this evaluation and you got to pay for it, Swaggy P would have to come up with that money because he's in college. If he couldn't get a degree, so you have to do it. So you have to. See, that's right. He says, you damn right. See, the thing is, his name is Swaggy P, but he's 20-year-old college student. And he honestly is supposed to be in a position of higher learning to where your mind's supposed to be open. But honestly, you sound like a junior high schooler. The way you type and come across, it's like you're approaching life like a joke. But then when I line you up to your Chinese or your Korean or your Japanese or your Ukrainian or your Greek or your Nigerian or even an American white guy, when I line you up next to all of your competitors and I look at your SAT score, where does it rank? Where I look at where do you rank in math and science, where do you rank? When I look at your GPA, high school, where do you rank? When I look at your GPA in college, where does it rank? When I look at the university, when you look at the college you attend, where does it rank among the best colleges and universities? Are you going to Princeton, Harvard, Yale? Or are you going to BFE Community College? Because see, you rank somewhere. And see, you can joke and laugh on YouTube, but when you got to stand next to everybody else and they're lining up and say, I'm a National Merit Scholar and I went on a full scholarship to the University of Pennsylvania, and you talking about, you got a student loan and you going to Okeechobee Community College, it ain't so funny. Where do you rank? Because see, the thing is, you, Swaggy P, are going to have to get out and get into that world. And when you graduate, there are going to be thousands of people graduating. Where do you rank amongst all those graduates? Then you, Swaggy P, are going to have to go put in a resume and interview. And then I look at them, and then somebody like myself gets on the other side and I see a resume that says Swaggy P, and I move right the fuck on. I'm like, I'm not hiring nobody with the name Swaggy P. What I want to hire, Swaggy P. Swaggy P is not representing our brand. Nope. You got the average resume gets looked at for 20 seconds. 20 seconds. So Swaggy P will go out and make his own resume. He wouldn't spend $300 to have it professionally written because, that's damn fool to spend that money. That's what Swaggy P would do. Swaggy P wouldn't, he keep that money. Shit, he can buy some pizza and drink on that. That's what Swaggy P would do. He think that, instead of going to get a nice dark suit and going for an interview, Swaggy P is gonna come in there with, some Dockers and a fucking Banana Republic shirt on and a skinny tie. Instead of sitting down with somebody who's really a professional and knows what they're doing, get an interview prep to learn how to take the most advantage of interviewing, because he's got no skills. As an entry level, as a college grad, you just is raw, you zero, you nothing. And you think Swaggy P's gonna come out and get the highest level job possible? Or you think he's gonna just get a job that anybody could get? They're not gonna go out and hire Swaggy P at the highest levels, not the way he's talking, but he'll get a job. They'll put him somewhere, and that's where he'll stay. But I tell you this much, if Swaggy P actually had to, in order to graduate, he had to actually get a professional evaluation from a corporate image consultant, he'd have to pay attention to what I have to say. And I guarantee you, he wouldn't say a goddamn word, because that money would shut his mouth, because he'd have to say, damn, I had to pay for this. So you don't argue with, see, that's the beautiful thing about money. People can argue with what they get for free, but they don't realize that you're getting something of value. Instead of taking advantage of it, you're trying to make jokes about it. And this shows you exactly why so many young Black men are in the position they are. You're mad and you joke. You're either mad or you're laughing. You're either mad or you're joking. You're either mad or you're silly. You're not serious. You're not serious-minded. You're not focused. You're not disciplined. It's all a joke. It's all a game. All right. Let me tell you this is what you're going to do, though. I already told you. I'm going to go ahead and put you in timeout. See, I'm glad I get, and here's the thing. You can always know you're going to get Swaggy P's, because when you actually start talking about the truth, he saw the title and he knew it was about him. He knew it's about him. He knows that he has an issue, but he's not man enough to approach that issue in a serious way. Not man enough to say, you know what, that's me. I'm mad. Whatever you talking about, it makes me feel some kind of way. And I don't like feeling this kind of way, but I know the way I feel is not helping me. It's not a helpful attitude. Help me. No, that's not that takes a man to do that. That takes somebody who's going to check their ego and pride and humble themselves. But what Swaggy P's don't humble themselves, especially to an older Black man. Are you kidding me? No. I'm going to come challenge you. See, because if I can make you wrong, then I don't have to do nothing, Kevin. See, that's what that is. If I can make you wrong, then I'm good. But guess what? Ain't nobody out there going to talk to you. They just going to say, ooh, that's one less person we got to deal with. One less person we got to compete with. So here's what we're going to do. Let's do it. If you like Swaggy P, here's the chance. Call in. Why are you so mad? And what you going to do? Because that's the thing. If you're one of the 70-80% of Black men that must work with somebody, what are you prepared to do to win? And winning means, what are you prepared to do? Working inside of somebody else's company to make as much money possible. That's what winning is. Winning is when you work for somebody else, you make as much money, go as high as you can, and get as much knowledge, information, and skill from them. You leave better off than you came. See, winning does not mean you just stay working for somebody for 10 years. If you been at a company for 10 years, but you really stopped evolving and improving after year 2, you've just got 10 years, you've got 5 years experience, you got 5 times the same 2 years experience. Let me say that again. Let's say you've been working someplace for 10 years, but you ain't learned something, you ain't learned nothing new in a year. You just got 10 years of the same 1 year experience. So then when you get out here on the open market and you go out there and say, well, I need to make this amount of money, they start quizzing you and they find out, man, you still entry level. Let me give you an example of the dating world. How often do you see on these spaces where we talk about women who overestimate their sexual marketplace value? She was a hot 21-year-old something, but now she's 20, but she's 36 years old and she's got 3 kids by 2 different dudes. But she's still in her mind thinks she's that hot 21-year-old. Then she goes out in the work, she goes out in the dating world, and she's still trying to be a sugar baby and trying to get the kind of men and the kind of attention she got at 21. See, we understand that as men. We call that woman delusional, right? We call that woman delusional. We say, oh no, lady, the game has changed. You've hit the wall. Your sexual marketplace value has gone down. What about your professional marketplace value? What is your professional marketplace value? Working for somebody for 10 years and not moving up, not having any more experience, not having any more responsibility, not adding things to your resume that are verifiable, not adding certifications, awards, and accomplishments on your resume, your professional market value has not moved. Thank you, Smarty Smart. Come on, man. Let's do it. Let's do it. I want to hear what you young guys, especially, now, as far as what's his name, Swaggy P, he's in college. I'm gonna tell you this, young man, you need, based on what you're typing, you need to go sit down with a professional because there's some daddy issues going on in there, man. Some issues with authority. Come on. Decades of being misinformed, the so-called white supremacy. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I don't dispute that it's not fair. It's not fair for anybody. And for Black men, it's the most unfair. Work under someone, then start your own. Have your own, but you need a guy. See, the thing is, everyone's not cut out to be an owner. We are not 300 years ago. We are an industrialized information age. See, this year, let me put it this way. Human beings are going to have to evolve. There were a time where we all had a profession. You were a baker, you were a cobbler, you were a shoemaker, you were we all had a task, a blacksmith, and you passed that trade down from father to son, father to son. But that was back in our agrarian days. When we became industrialized at the turn of the last century, human beings became a part of a collective machine. Now we work in machines. These are corporations. But now we have gone from working in silos and buildings to a global economy. That means you're not just working and going to the factory, pulling the lever, pushing a button. You're having to work with people around the world. My video editor is in Pakistan. O'Shea is in Poland. Look at how many people he works with. And the thing is, that's where we're at. All right, understand something. Whoever's going to get on here, you're going to be respectful. No cursing, no craziness, because you will be booted. All right. Mac user, what's going on? Guys, I need at least 5 guys to put something in super chat because I'm actually teaching here. Mac user. Swaggy, get out your feelings, man. That's what you do. You call in. See, you can call in. Mac user, I can't hear you. Ethiopified, I need to holler at you too.
Hello?
Yes. Hey, how are you? Get out your feelings, man.
Oh, I'm doing great. I don't know if you could hear me.
Yeah, I can. I need you to mute your YouTube channel in the background.
Okay, well, let me do that right now.
Okay.
Yes. I apologize.
Hmm.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can. What do you got for us?
Well, I would like to thank you, Kevin, for doing this live stream. I've been consuming a lot of your content, and I appreciate you taking the time to educate us with your corporate insight and grand view of things, because it's very rare to have such content here on YouTube.
Yeah.
So pretty much, I have a question. I'm trying to get to the next level in my career field. It's a bit odd, so maybe you could give me some insight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm moving up. I work as a self-employed contractor for
Okay.
for theme parks, and I would like to go to the next step and basically be a manager and own my own business. But I feel my appearance is not where it should be.
Okay, let me ask you a couple of questions. First off,
Yes, please.
what is your industry? Did you say what parks?
My industry is live caricature design. So basically, I'm a skilled laborer. I basically do impressionistic drawings of patrons in theme parks.
Okay, so you're an artist.
Correct.
All right, and what do you want to get to?
I want to move up in the company that I'm at the moment to get more capital so I could leverage that to create my own establishment.
Okay, talk to me like I'm 4 years old. Don't give me the big words. Just talk to me. Just go ahead. Yeah, I want to move up in my company. Just tell me what's simple.
Okay.
You're an artist in theme parks. What do you want to do?
I want to gain a management position so I can make more money, and then I want to use that money to create my own establishment.
What's your own establishment? What would that be?
That would be like a space in a high traffic area, like, you know, like in fairs and stuff like that, like a good space.
Are there companies that do that already?
I believe so. Yes.
No. I need to know if they exist. See, what I'm asking is, what you want to do, does it already exist?
Yes, correct. It does exist.
All right. So what are some of those companies? Just give me the names.
Commons is one of the most well-known one. They're in many theme parks.
Okay.
Commons,
So
yeah.
Okay, Commons. So follow what Commons did.
It should come as second nature to want to grow in company if you're going to be there for 10 years.
Oh, so thanks, Renaissance. Here's the thing. Because what I heard you say is you want to go from what you're doing now, you want to go to management to get the money, to go out and then start your own thing like Commons.
Yes, correct. I don't know if that train of logic it makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
Let me know.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Right.
Because honestly, you're not going to get rich working for anybody else.
Understood.
How many hours a week are you working?
Oh, I'm working close to 80.
How many hours a week are you working that you're getting paid for each hour?
I would say out of the 80, I don't have a measurement for that. I do not know.
Well, if you're working 80 hours, how much are you making a month?
I'm making close to around 7, give or take.
7 what?
K.
$7,000 a month. All right. So if you're working 80 hours a week, that means you're working 320 hours. Okay?
All right.
Divide by 320 hours. You're making $21.80 an hour. So if you adjusted that for a 40-hour work week, That would be a $43,750 a year job. How old are you?
I'm I'm 35.
35 years old. So at 35, you should be, in my opinion, should be around at least $105,000. At
100.
35 years old, at $43,000 a year, you are woefully underemployed. So
Mm.
number one, the industry you're working in does not make any money. No one gets rich drawing in theme parks or malls or anywhere else like that. So even if you owned your own company, you're going to be living on scraps. If Commons is a bigger company that did it, um, what you do, it does not sound like you're working in a growth industry. So, and to try to go into management to get more money, how much do managers make?
Huh. Um. Hmm.
You picked a career.
Not much. Not
No,
much.
no. Okay, so why do you want to be in the manager? Why do you want more responsibility and not make? Why did you pick this career?
Oh, okay. All right. Wait. You
Short
gave me
story.
two.
Short story. Short story, brother. I got other people. Why?
Oh. What? I like the arts, and it was one of the few
Okay.
of. I like the
Okay.
arts.
You like the arts. What the fuck does what is it? What you real talk, what the fuck does what you like have to do with making money? You're broke.
Mm,
You're
correct.
broke. You're working 80 hours a week. You're broke. You gotta be single with
Mm,
no kids.
I am single with no kids.
So you have no life.
No.
You're not a happy person.
Well, I wouldn't. No, actually, I am.
I
I'm
mean,
happy.
are you a satisfied person?
I'm satisfied because I feel like I'm building towards something. Because
You're not
everything
building
I.
towards anything. You're not building towards anything. You're
Okay,
building towards
understood.
misery.
Okay, I'll take that.
There,
So, what would
there's
you
no,
advise
there
then?
is, huh?
I'm sorry. There's a delay. What would you advise, Kevin?
Somebody like you needs career counseling because at 35 years old, if you don't have anybody around you that love and respect to pull your coattail and say, bro, you're working 80 hours a week just to make $7,000 drawing at a mall, we need to talk. Because what you're
Mm,
telling me is you don't even have, you want to move up and you don't even know if that's the right path. You need someone to help you. I would say in 3 minutes, I've probably given you more information than you've had in a long time.
yes, correct. You have actually.
That's why I'll put the link down at the bottom, book some time. Because if you're making $7,000 a month, you know, not all passions are meant to be a profession. I have plenty of things I'm passionate about, but I can't make a living out of it. And at 35 with no kids, you've got a lot of life left. All right, got a lot of life left. So that would be my suggestion. Um, let me see. I also have somebody else going to join in. I'm gonna go ahead and put you back. Thank you, Mac user.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, look, we got Swaggy P.
Hello?
What is this? Senegi. We're gonna have to have you wait. If you're in the waiting room, you're just gonna have to wait, please. Go ahead. So what are you so upset about?
I'm not upset. I'm just, well,
You just
I'm
what?
take that back. I'm just mad at how the world works. That's
Why?
my issue. It's just being lied to from such a young age of everything, and then coming to like
Who
manhood,
lied to you?
my parents, school system, media, everything.
What does your father have to say about this?
Wait, what you said?
What does your father have to say about this?
See, like you just said, I don't have my father in my life. Well,
All
I
right.
do kind of ish, but
Okay.
that's a whole nother story.
Who you say you said the media, the school system? Give me some specifics. I mean, 20 years old, you're a college student. Let me ask you something. When you were growing up, were you poor?
Yeah,
You were
still
okay.
am.
Okay. Do you
Quote
have any
unquote.
brothers or sisters?
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
Are you the oldest, youngest, middle? Where are you?
See, that's another issue because pops and all that.
Just give me the, are you your mother's oldest, youngest? What?
Youngest.
Okay. How many children does your mother have?
2.
Are they both from the same man?
Yeah, including me.
Okay. And then is your older sibling? Is it a brother or sister?
Brother.
What is your brother doing?
So, what you call it?
I didn't hear you. He's
He's
what?
in education.
Did he
Something.
go to college?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And how old is he?
Um, 28.
20.
Gifts for Kevin.
Is he married, single?
Relationship.
Does he feel the same way you do?
A little bit, but he's more so on the how you say positive side.
Right. So, when you were growing up, you said you're poor. Tell me about 3 or 4 times where you actually had no food in the house and you had to just go to bed hungry.
I didn't have to worry about that.
Oh, okay. So you had a roof over your head and always had food.
Mhm.
And did you go to a public school?
Public school.
All right. Was it a rundown public school where you had to jump over heroin needles and run
Nah,
through
nah, nah,
big?
nah.
Oh, okay. So basically lower middle class.
I would. I mean, if that's what it's considered, then yeah.
Well, it doesn't sound like you were in lower class
I
poverty.
mean, I was in the urban community, so still
But
kind of.
okay, but you didn't miss any meals,
Mhm.
and you didn't have to. You're not describing a life of violence to where you have to avoid gang territories or anything like that. You went to school.
Mhm.
What kind of grades did you make?
Yeah.
A's,
I mean, when I
B's,
was
C's.
when I was younger, probably like B's,
What was your
A's. As you
GPA when you graduated?
progress,
What was your graduate? What did you graduate high school with?
80,
Huh?
80, 80
I
GPA,
don't.
80%.
80,
Yeah.
80%. You were a B student,
Mhm.
just barely a B student. Okay, so what I'm hearing, and so you're in college. Are you on scholarship? You take out loans?
Yeah, I'm on half and half. Yeah,
Half and half. All right. And what are you going to school for?
counting.
Accounting. So, uh, Mr. P, what I'm hearing is uh, you really don't have any issues. I mean, these first world issues, you didn't miss any meals. Your safety was never really in jeopardy. You went to school. You could have gotten better, but you were a B, C, B student. Now you're in college, partial scholarship, and you're going to school for accounting, and you're mad. How about this? You can quit and go to the military and go on deployment to Afghanistan or something like that. Why don't you do that? Go travel the
That
world.
was, that was a possibility before, but I'm not trying to do that route.
Well, you don't have to. Have you ever been outside of the country?
Yes.
Where? Where'd you go?
Shit. All around Asia, South America, Central America.
And
Yeah.
how did you do that?
Uh, just working my ass off.
No, no, no,
In
no. How did
scholarship,
you afford to pay for it?
school scholarship.
Okay, so I want to be correct. Correct. You at 20 years old, you've been throughout Asia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So in any of the places where you went in Asia, did these people have more than you have here or less?
Less than they were happy as hell. That's one thing I can
You
say.
know why they were happier? Because they were appreciative. I'm gonna tell you right now, young man, you sound very, very, very entitled. And I would suggest you go back to the chat room and listen to how I broke this down. You've not described a life of lack or misery or anything else. What kind of life do you think you should be living right now as a 20-year-old? What do you think should be happening if the world was fair and everything was right and you weren't lied to? What should be happening? What's your expectation?
Expectations.
Yeah, because that's generally why people get angry or frustrated when
I
expectation doesn't
mean,
line up with reality. Your
if I knew
reality.
if I
Hmm?
knew the truth earlier on, I
What
wouldn't
truth?
be in this.
What truth?
The truth of how the world works. Like
Okay, give me an example. How does the world work for a 20-year-old guy who's traveled and is in college?
the way how you look is how, depending on how you look, is better treatment in like different situations. Could be height,
Okay,
color,
hold
all
on, hold
that
on, hold on, hold
stuff.
on, hold on. Are you heterosexual or homosexual?
Heterosexual.
You have a girlfriend?
No,
Ever have a
no,
girlfriend?
not really.
Okay, so are you a virgin?
No.
How many sexual partners have you had in your life?
I mean, one.
One. All right. Um, if you had $50 billion in the bank, would you marry a Lizzo-like woman?
No.
Why?
It's not worth it.
No, 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 no. I'm just from an appearance standpoint.
No.
Why?
It's unattractive.
Oh, so you mean you mean you judge her appearance?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So
You're right.
so
Yes.
it's all right for you to judge people on their appearance, but it's not all right for you to be judged on your appearance? How does that work?
You got me there. You're right.
I know. Because what I'm listening to is a person who has a lot of opinions and very judgmental. You make judgments often, but you don't want to be judged. You want the rules. What you want is you want it to be easy.
I mean, isn't that what everybody wants
No,
in a way?
no. This is what not having a father would do for you. No. Men want to.
Whoa, what do we
You want?
don't?
Hold
Oh,
on, hold
wait.
on. Let me give you an
I'll
example.
let you speak. I'll let you speak.
Let me give you an example. You ever play video games?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of video games? Madden, basketball, what?
Shit. Sports game, 2K,
Sports games, 2K.
Pokemon,
Will you ever you
freaking
play
all type of
Pokemon?
stuff. Yeah, Pokemon stuff.
Okay, I was a Yu-Gi-Oh player. So have you ever played? So were you ever really good at at a certain game where you get competitive and play with your boys? Were you ever really good at any of them?
We'll play with my friends.
Were you ever really
I say
good?
Call of Duty. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
Call of
you're
Duty.
right.
Call of Duty.
But
So,
that was mad long ago. That was like in
but that's
middle
okay.
school.
But that's okay. So when you had Call of Duty, did you get to the end of the game?
I mean, there is no end game. It's just
Did you?
multiplayer.
It's multiplayer, but there are
Yeah.
different settings in the game.
Yeah.
All right. So it is more satisfying to get to the end. Is it more satisfying to achieve to win if you set it on the easiest setting and get all the unlocks and cheats up front? Is it as satisfying as to actually learn how to beat the game yourself?
It's not as satisfying.
Right. Women, children want life on the easy mode. Men want satisfaction. So no, we don't want life easy, because here's what easy is. Why are you going to college for accounting when honestly you could actually self-teach yourself how to do what a lot of entry-level accountants do. But if you went to interview for a job and they hired somebody who just picked up accounting for dummies and they looked at you and said, we took that person over you, wouldn't you feel some kind of way that I went to school and got my degree in accounting? It should count for something because I had to invest and do the work. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I talk about show your work, young man. This is why a lot of you young guys need mentors, because there's displaced, first off, your expectations. It sounds like you expect a lot for a minimum. You don't reap riches without doing something. But it all crystallized when I asked you, what about Lizzo if you had $50 billion? And then all the stuff that you think is wrong actually pointed back to you. You wouldn't want her. My point is this. You weren't lied to. And it sounds to me as though you have a pretty nice life. At 20 years old, if everything you're saying is true, I don't know many 20-year-olds who've traveled on their own dime.
It's not my own dime, but partially kind of ish.
I asked you how.
Yeah, dude. I worked my ass off during the summer before I went to study abroad, and then school help paid and stuff like that.
School helped pay.
Yeah.
Could everyone do what you did?
No.
So isn't that something to be grateful for?
That's true. Which I am grateful for.
No, young man, I'm telling you, you don't sound very grateful. Sounds like you get things. It sounds like you get things and you're upset because they're not more. I mean, you're talking about I asked you about your upbringing. Your mother has two children. Your brother is in a relationship and he's an educator. You haven't told me about a history of abuse, neglect, anything else. Your mother, while she may not have been the best, she kept a roof over your head, made sure that you were fed, put you in a place to be educated enough to where you could actually go to college and partial scholarship and be able to get into foreign exchange or do something abroad. And you're talking about if you feel like you've been lied to in the world. And I want to ask you this. If this is the attitude you have at 20, when you're looking at things and you're not saying anything's going to happen to you, what's going to happen when you're 28 years old out here and 5 years after graduation with this chip on your shoulder? Who the fuck's going to want to work with you? Who's going to want to deal with you? When you're angry all the time or upset or frustrated or dejected, whatever.
I wouldn't say angry all the time, but just angry that I'm not in a better position than I am right now.
Better position.
I guess you could call it greed. You can call it greed.
Better position than you're in right now. What position should a 20-year-old college student be in?
I mean, that's subjective, to be honest.
No, it's not. It's not subjective. Why not? That's another one of these postmodernist bullshit. The world is not. 20-year-old college student. What position should you be in?
Transition into manhood.
How much money?
Learning how the world works, how to take care of yourself.
But should you be? How much money should you be making, if any? What kind of car should you be driving? What kind of place should you be living? What's your quality of life? What should it be at 20?
I mean, it should be okay, not the lavish, like these
what is okay
and stuff like that.
What is okay?
Okay is like enough for you're stable, you're not hungry, you have a place to sleep.
How much money do you make?
I can't give you a correct number, but
how much is your rent?
I don't pay rent.
How much is where do you live?
I live in a dorm.
How much is your dorm?
I think it's like $6K.
You think
I'm being paid by like
you think $6K?
My scholarship.
Right.
No, I'm pretty positive $6K.
So let me tell you something.
It's a lot because
let me tell you something. When you get out in the world, there won't be any thinking of what your bills are. See, right now, and this is not to be insulting, you sound like an entitled kid because you got a dorm that you don't know how much to cost. You go out and ask the average working man, he'll tell you exactly how much his rent is, his mortgage is. He'll tell you exactly how much his car note is. See, you're not having to pay or support your life. And then you being able to work your ass off, what you call working your ass off, I'm going to tell you, ain't nothing like you're going to experience when you get out here and have to really work. And if you're bitching right now, when you live in a dorm and you can travel the world, how much does the average entry-level accountant make? This is something you should know. What's the starting salary? How much is the starting salary for the average accountant?
I mean, what I think is like 40K. It could be 30 on the low end or high end, like 50K.
I know, but I asked you the average. This is your business.
Average? I'd say about 40K.
Okay, 40K. In what city do you live in?
New York City, so they'll probably be
hold
like 50K.
Hold on. No, New York City.
I used to live in like 50K.
I used to live in Manhattan. Hell's Kitchen. So 40. Let's give you 50K. Let's give you 50 for New York City. Where are you gonna live for $50,000 in New York City?
Some shitty 1-bedroom apartment, which I'm doing right now.
What you gonna drive?
Use the subway.
How you gonna eat? Because I'm gonna tell you for $50,000 a year, you're gonna be living in a basement apartment in Brooklyn or the Bronx, someplace out in New Jersey, or you're gonna have a roommate. See, right now you're living far better. See, this is what kills me with young guys. You got all these questions, and you're not. this is many things, and I'm trying to use this as a teaching moment. One, stop judging your life by what you see on social media and other people. You are doing far better than an average 20-year-old, and you're not even having to pay the bill. You're not even going into debt. I tell you, go back to this chat room and watch some of the things that people are saying. I like this guy sounds entitled. But when you get out here and you're no longer in see, right now you're in the practice zone. You're not in the game. Once you're out of college and you're in the world, there are no more professors. There are no more courses. There's no more net. You have to get out here and compete. How do you plan on competing when you get out here in the real world? You go get your first job making $50,000. What next? What next, Swaggy P?
Trying to find ways how to move up or
Okay.
try to become self-sufficient.
No,
where I
it's
don't have to work for.
not self-sufficient. So self-sufficient ain't for, you're an accountant. Sorry.
Self-employed is
Okay,
correct term.
self-sufficient. But first off, that ain't, at best, you working for your own is gonna be 5 years at best. So you're gonna have to
Yeah,
go
no,
work.
that's what.
Hold on. You're either gonna have
Right.
to, my ex was an accountant and I have several fraternity brothers who are accountants. You're either gonna have to go work for a small accounting firm and do all the work and learn everything, put in 100 hours a week, and then mirror what that firm did and start your own, or go work for one of the former big six or something like that. You're gonna work for somebody. But the point is ultimately this. You say, do what you need to, get out here and do what you need to do to move up. But earlier in the stream, you just said that you wouldn't pay for a coach or any of this other kind of stuff. Who do you think is going to teach you or tell you what you need to do when they're competing against you to get the same thing? Did you understand the question? Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Did you understand the question?
Sorry, can you repeat it one more time?
Who do you think out here is going to teach you? Earlier, you said, when I talked about paying for a consultant or talking to a professional, you laughed and said, I damn sure wouldn't. Cool. But if you're out here trying to learn what you need to do to move up, who do you think is going to teach you that when you're out here competing against them? How do you expect to move up? Somebody just supposed to come along and give it to you?
No.
Hard work, and somebody's supposed to say, that's Swaggy P, man. He sure can do a balance sheet. But the guy who's already entitled and lacking gratitude does not sound to me like the kind of guy who's going to actually be, how do I want to say this? You've had far too much to be this ungrateful. Life has been really pretty nice to you. It may not be perfect, but it's been really good to you. And a lot of you young guys, you need to actually get out here in the real world and have the real world slap you around a little bit. Because right now, you have not had any trouble. You'll know who you are when you get punched for the first time. What has life taken from you? What has life cost you? What sacrifice have you had to make? What pain have you gone through? Any of those questions.
But I have a question for you right now.
After you answer mine.
What do you recommend?
After you answer mine.
All right.
Well, that was a question. What sacrifice, pain, what has life taken from you?
What has life taken from me? I mean, what do you mean, like, take what kind, like, can you give me, like...
Meaning that you're frustrated because you were lied to and all this other kind of stuff, but people in the chat room are saying they can't take you seriously because you're 20, you're in college, you're in a dorm, you've traveled, and and it sounds as though you expect more.
Should we all be like wanting more for ourselves, not necessarily staying content? Because being content is kind of like being stagnated in a way.
There's a difference. Yeah, wanting more. What are you doing to get it? Wanting is fine. What are you doing to get it?
Put in effort.
What do you mean? What effort are you putting in?
Studying, trying to get more hours at my job. What else? Trying to get internships, so type of stuff. Trying to better my situation.
Okay. So studying, doesn't that come along with wanting to get the degree?
Correct.
So that doesn't count. Trying to get more hours at your job. What do you mean?
Just get more
You
money.
get them or you don't, or you go get another job. Trying to get an internship. What are you doing to get an internship?
Speaking to people in my school that like career services, people that are actually in the field,
Okay.
stuff like that.
Name me three companies you've contacted.
Haven't contacted any.
Oh, listen to what we just had, gentlemen. See, this is what I say. You want extraordinary results from not even from the minimum effort. That's why I said,
Hold on, hold on.
hold on. Stop.
It's a quick question.
No. This is the thing. You want something, but you're not willing to put the work in. Studying doesn't count. They're not going, and you haven't even reached out as a sophomore to any companies. How do you expect this stuff to happen? Go ahead with your question.
So how would you go about contacting these companies then?
This is why you pay somebody like myself for career coaching and advising. Remember when you said, damn right you wouldn't spend that money? See, you're talking to a guy who had
No, I
internship.
didn't. I was not referring to that. Hold on.
Okay,
No.
but let me tell you. I would tell you this.
misinterpreting what I said. You're
Well,
misinterpreting
I
what
would
I
tell
said.
you this. I would tell you this. Have you paid anybody to? Have you paid it? Do you have any? I'll put it to you this way. You cannot want and not want to put in the work. See, what it sounds to me is though you wanting to be rich, easy. You wanting to be successful, easy. And just, it's okay to want it. But what are you doing as far as work? You saying, well, I talked to somebody at my college, but whose responsibility is it to get you an internship?
Myself.
So what are you doing?
I'm just looking for guidance in terms of
You're
how
looking
to
for
go the right approach in contacting these companies.
this is why you're gonna need you're gonna have to pay someone like myself for a professional consultation or evaluation. No one gives this shit for free.
I hear you on that.
I had internships from my sophomore year on through. And I've talked about on my channel how my internships every year set me up for extraordinary success in my career. See, if you had a father who actually could tell you how to do this kind of stuff like a lot of other kids, but you don't have that. It's not to the university to be your parent. You need a consultant. I know you need a consultant. You need a mentor. You haven't found that, so you're gonna have to pay for it.
It's fucked up, but that's life.
Hold on, why is that fucked up?
It's like everybody's dealt these cards in life, and just gotta make what's best with it.
Why? I want you to. So having to pay somebody for the benefit of their experience to help you get what you want. There's something wrong with that.
I'm not saying it's wrong to do that. I'm just saying that
That
it's
is
wrong
fucked
that
up.
I'm
So
saying that it's
let me get
wrong.
let me get this straight.
You
So you're gonna go to college.
You cut me off.
Hold on, dude. So you're gonna go to college.
24 analyst, at what age should one stop
So you're gonna go to college, get your degree in accounting. But are you gonna work pro bono?
in another industry / department?
Are you gonna work pro bono, or do you expect to get paid for your work?
Expect to get paid for my work.
So why would a professional not expect to get paid for their work if they're helping you get what you want? And see, this is what I mean by so many young Black men being raised by your mothers. You want it all for free. Ask you about college. Well, college is paid for by the scholarships, and the dorm is paid for by this. And dude, you don't have any real responsibility. And as soon as someone says you got to go eat what you kill, you got to get out here and compete, you start bitching, belly aching, and complaining, talk about it's fucked up. You ain't ready, man. You are. Let me give you the real. You ain't tough enough. You're going to be an entry level. If you don't change this attitude, you're going to be a disgruntled entry level controller at a hotel, assistant controller at a hotel, bookkeeper somewhere, fat, masturbating to porn because you can't get a woman. Because I'll tell you right now, no woman worth her salt wants to deal with a male with your attitude. You've never had a girlfriend. That's what you said. You've had sex with one person, so you're not really out here romantically involved. You got issues, young man, that you need to address because honestly, the world doesn't owe you shit. I'm doing the best I can to try to talk to you, but I'm telling you, as a father, at this point, I'd be punching you in your chest saying, you ain't my son. Man up, grab your balls and get to work. And that's what a lot of us miss growing up. We were just coddled and had our emotions fed to where we could sit around and woe is me. When ain't shit really happened. All right, Young. I will ask you if you have any other questions, man. But I appreciate you calling in, but I think you should come back and look at this stream and look at the chat room.
All right, one question.
Yeah.
How would you go about contacting these companies or like acquiring power, like just to overall improve?
Is that a
myself?
valuable skill? Is that valuable knowledge?
Yes. So you're trying to charge me for it? All right. I hear you on that. You don't have to explain. You don't have to explain.
Well, I mean, what I'm trying to understand is why is it that black men have such a problem with that?
No, I don't. I'm just saying I respect it.
Well, but okay. So so then what are you going to do about it? Are you going to do that? Or are you going to still try to do it the free way? Be honest. See,
the way how my financial situation is, I can't afford it, but I'll definitely be looking into it into the future.
so what I need you guys to focus on is the laugh. The laugh was, yeah, I know there's a better and more effective way, but this is black men's problems. We want to do shit like niggas. I know this is the way the world works. Man, I just still want to get this shit for the free, for the hookup. And then you're gonna make excuses. Okay, then all right, man. I can't help you. I can't help anybody who ain't gonna be willing to help themselves. You are the kind of person who's gonna make a lot of people rich. Because all I gotta do is stick you over somewhere, pay you 10% more than the market, and you will work yourself to death to make them rich, and you will think you're winning.
I want to make sure not to allow that to happen. But
No, brother, no. And if you don't change this mindset, if you don't really, and watching understand something, watching my videos is not going to help you. You can watch videos to the heart's content. You need one-on-one work because you didn't get it growing up. Your mother loved you, but many of us black men were not properly parented.
I can agree with that.
And after the age 24, mentorship is not an opportunity. You're going to have to pay for it. And if not, guess what? Brad, Ahmed, Lee, and Enrique, they got no problem paying for a learning curve, coaching and whatever. They got no problem that you sit back and chuckle and say, hey, well, wasting fucking time talking about, well, I can't afford it. You traveled the world, but you can't buy a coat? You can't get a consult? Listen to what this brother just said. He traveled the world, but he can't get something. traveled the world. But see, the thing is, especially black men, we don't like paying for knowledge from black people. We'll go to the white man's university. We don't want to pay for that knowledge. Best of luck, my friend.
All right, take care.
So, understand something. Let me also tell you something too. For people who like stuff to be cheap or free, free advice is worth exactly how much you pay for it. Black men, let me tell you something. We are at the bottom of everybody when it comes to paying for knowledge. We think we can get it free on the hustle. You'll have somebody who'll come in and say, you charge how much an hour? Versus, man, I can't afford all that right now, but if you could work with me, can I make payment plans on? Can I pay it out? And then see, consultants are more likely to work with you if you approach them in a business way. But see, here's the reality. Oftentimes as black men, we look at other black men and we assign a value to black males' worth. I can't tell you how many times I've had black men come in and look at how much I charge for my services and say, you charge that much? It's because I'm black. Doesn't matter that I'm a 20-year professional. Doesn't matter that I've sold more than $45 million in products and services. Doesn't matter that I got all those certificates all around. It doesn't matter my stats, my resume. It's this black face in front of another black man. And black men should be charging that much. And honestly, BGS will tell you, I don't charge what I'm worth. I have colleagues I have colleagues right now that are like, why are you on YouTube talking to these people? You could be out in DC or LA working with people in entertainment and in sports, or you could be a consultant on K Street making $3,000 an hour. But you're on YouTube talking to black men who don't really even care, who you got to argue with about suits and Jordans and hair. They ain't never gonna buy this stuff. They don't want it. Is it okay you spend $2,000 on Creed fragrance? I mean, that's your money. I would hope you also have been investing in yourself. See, that's what I'm saying. Black men, we'll go buy something. We'll go buy a Gucci belt. But you won't learn how to actually approach companies to land an internship. We'll go buy all it. Let's talk about it. Because I care for black people. Here's the hard truth. They care for themselves. You can't care more than somebody cares for themselves. So, all right, let's see. We have anybody else that wants to get in the room? You have anybody else that wants to get in the room? Let's do it. Understand what this guy who just asked me about this creed. What does what I have to do with what you have to do? Understand something. The guy just said, you have on this. What does that mean? So? See, that's another thing. This guy come in, my H3 will come in and say, well, why do I need to pay you that? Black men, and it's not black women, black men expect you to give everything for free. You have a super chat that he didn't read? Let me see. We want things, we want black men to give us stuff for free. This ain't a black woman. This is a black man. We expect that. We expect shit for free. We sit back and like, oh, you want to charge me that? Oh, bruh, you got on a nice watch. You got a nice car. You got this, you got that. I have never in my professional life had a non-black person say anything like that to me. When I started being an image consultant, I've never had anyone try to sit back and say, oh man, hook me up. I've had people ask for a loyalty discount, but let's see. I don't see this super chat. Who you say is a super chat? McDurran. I don't see what is your name? At 24, and I'm an analyst. At what age should one stop exploring their career options and choosing a career path? I don't want to continually switch entry-level roles, hoping the grass might be green on the other side. By 25, you should choose a career path, in my opinion. 25, you should choose a path and then work that path. The worst thing that can happen is you end up realizing it's not for you, but you need to start planting roots. That's another thing. Okay, somebody just joined in and dropped off. That's another thing. A lot of times we don't want to commit. We don't want to commit, but it's the very commitment that makes you successful. There's riches and niches. You need to get specific quickly. This is why being single hurts you. Being unmarried hurts you trying to go up the corporate ladder. Because when you reach middle and upper management, 90% of everybody up there is married. They're not, and marriage is looked at as your ability to commit. Like it or not. And this is not going to change. If you think, well, 30 years from now, upper management will look like the hookup culture. No, it won't. There's always been a hookup culture. It's just a little more virulent because of the internet. But to move up, structure, consistency, and discipline is a must. Yeah, that's a fair question. MH3, he asked a fair question. This topic clearly says black men. I mean, you came in here into a video asking about black men, and you came in and asked about Creed fragrances. Did you not read the title? I'm just curious. I'm curious. I mean, I don't mind that you're not black and you're here, but I'm curious as to why you came onto this show where it says, "Are black men too mad to win?" And then the description is very clearly one way, and you came in asking about fragrances. Hello? Well, that's true, Maverick. As black people, we have certain experiences and understandings of one another that certain groups will never, that other groups will never understand, just like Mexicans. But what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Oh, we'll go ahead and help you out there. I mean, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? When you go into work, it's not about you personally. You have a profession. See, you don't get to go to work for people and their companies and then say how it should or should not be. Sebastian, you have to unmute yourself from your side.
Hello?
Yes, Sebastian. What can I do for you?
Okay, so there are some of the points that I totally understand with what you're saying, but
Mhm.
at the exact same time, I also have a problem with some of the stuff that you're saying.
Okay. How old are you?
20.
20. And where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Philly.
In Philadelphia. So, are you in college?
Yes,
Do you have anybody in your immediate family who's in corporate America?
2.
Who would that be?
Well, I happen to have a cousin who is an architect, and I
Mhm.
also have an aunt who is a manager at some sort of accounting firm.
Okay. So I guess by immediate family, that means your mother or your father or your brother or your sisters. That's
Uh,
your extended family.
okay, well, in that case, no.
Okay. So at 20 years old in Philadelphia as a college student, what do you disagree with?
Well, I feel like you just overall lack kind of understanding.
First off, Sebastian,
Yes.
we're gonna remove the word feel from this conversation. Men think and we know. We don't feel. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, you're coming extremely sort of hard on people, and
Okay.
it takes, it takes
Am I
time.
saying am I saying what I think or am I saying what I know?
Well,
Okay. So if I know this, what's the problem?
Black men deal with a lot of issues that make it hard for us to excel in these spaces. And
Correct. Correct. So whose responsibility is it to address those issues?
well, we can't just sit here and ignore.
Whose responsibility is it to address those issues?
I hate to say it, but the white man.
Okay. So the issues that black men individually have, it's white men collectively responsibility to address that.
Yes.
Okay. Please explain.
There's nothing to explain.
Yes, there is. I don't understand. If you have an individual issue,
I mean, no matter how much I push, which I have in my personal life, I can't say never, but I have to put in almost twice, 4 times the amount of work as the average white dude to get the exact same recognition, if that.
okay, so let me stop you right there. In the turn of the 20th century, are you familiar with the suffrage movement?
No, I have not.
College student not familiar with the suffrage movement. Women in the right to vote. Women in the beginning of 19th century, beginning of 20th century, often made the same arguments that they have to work hard just to get the same recognition. Women couldn't even vote. So let me ask you this, Sebastian, do you think where in the world is it equal outcomes?
Not in America.
I said where in the world?
I don't know if that truly exists.
Okay, so if it does not exist, equality of outcomes. Are you a sports fan?
No, not really.
But you do understand what sports are.
Yes.
Okay, you live in Philadelphia. The Eagles just won a Super Bowl not too long ago, right?
Right.
All right. Who was the worst team in the league that year?
I don't really know.
But there was a worse team.
Yes.
They were in the NFL, correct?
Correct.
They had a chance to compete in all 16 games, yes?
Yes.
Philadelphia won, they didn't. Was it unfair?
No.
Okay. So please explain to me how it's white men collectively's
That's
responsibility.
completely different.
No, so I'm asking you, no, you do, but I want to get back to what you think about fairness and equality. I don't say that it's more difficult for black men. And here's the thing, any group can make an argument, but black men, it's more difficult for us. I've accepted that. But then what? What do you do? Because what you're saying is it's if a black man individually has an issue, it's white men collectively responsibility to address that black man's issue. And you haven't told me why. And when I say an
It,
issue, I'm talking about something like, well, go ahead.
it's a form of reparations. I mean, you can't just effectively destroy an entire group of people and then just expect them, like, we have to deal with years and years and years of just poverty stricken minds and just the lack of education and bad habits and
What
bad
do you mean
values.
okay. How does that affect you?
It great. If it wasn't for YouTube and the internet itself, I probably would be another Pookie right about now. That's how it
Okay,
affects me.
but again, why are you in college?
Uh, to earn a better income in life in general.
Are you in an all black, you're historically black college or university?
No.
So you're in a white man's school?
When you put it like that, yes.
No, I'm not putting it like that. That's what it is.
You make it. I don't really interact and deal with them, so whatever.
Doesn't matter. You'll go to the white man's school to get what you need. So you'll play that game.
I'm forced.
No, you're not forced. No, you're not forced. Please, Sebastian, you're not forced to go to college. Are you on full scholarship or are you taking out student loans?
Taking out student loans.
So you're going into debt to go get the white man's knowledge.
Not as much, but yeah.
I didn't say as much. I know. Just stick yes or no. You're going into debt to get the white man's knowledge.
It's not his knowledge.
It's not yours.
Well, black people contribute.
But you didn't go to a black place to get it.
Well, that's because the white man don't.
No, dude, you didn't go to. There are plenty of HBCUs in your area.
And with
Okay.
most HBCUs.
Why are you going to college? You said it, because I want to get the outcomes of better opportunity. And you're willing to go into the white man's credit system to get the white man's education. Where are you planning on going to work after you get your degree? An all black company?
There are none.
So where are you going?
Unfortunately, a white man's.
Why? And then after you work for that white man, what do you plan on doing 5 years after you've been working for that white man?
Getting out.
And doing what?
Starting my own.
And your degree is going to be in what?
Finance.
Finance. You're going to start your own what?
I haven't thought about it yet, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, yes, it does. Yes, see, we're men. We don't just jump out of something. That makes logical sense. I'm going to go work for somebody. In 5 years, I'm just going to get out and do whatever. What can you do with a finance degree?
I mean, I don't know.
You don't know. You don't know what you can do with a finance degree, yet you're going into debt to get it.
I mean,
this is a white man's problem. How? You, as a black man, are going into debt to get a finance degree that you don't know how to use. And this is a white man's problem. How?
Because I lack overall guidance and supervision because of
what does your father say?
You don't have one.
What does your mother say?
She doesn't know.
Who advised you to go to college?
Myself.
And you're how old again?
20.
You're 20, but yet you're smart enough to know you lack overall guidance and all these other things, but you keep making these decisions, going to college, why go into finance? You can't tell me why you're in finance. You can't tell me what you're going to do. The white man has nothing to do with your poor decision-making skills. The white man has, no, he doesn't, because he doesn't have to deal with your outcomes. The white man did not sign that debt. The white man did not enroll in that school and say, I'm going to go here. See, what it is, this is a bunch of, you want to have other people take responsibility. So I tell you what, if it turns out that it works out to your favor and you become rich and successful, are you going to give the white man credit?
Hell no.
Oh, are you looking in the chat room?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I suggest go back and look in the chat room and look at what your brothers are saying.
Well, obviously they're freaking sellouts too. They love being
right. Sellouts. What do you mean sellouts? You mean like going to a white man's school, getting white man's college?
They're weak. They're not trying to compete.
Okay. Oh, but you're competing how? How are you competing? How are you going to compete in finance and you don't even know what you can do with the degree?
It doesn't matter. I'll figure it out.
Okay. So, have you ever played sports before?
Yes.
What sport?
Basketball.
Basketball. Were you on the basketball team?
Yes.
All right. So, if you have a bunch of average basketball players, but they're a team, then you have just a bunch of guys who can ball. And y'all play a pickup game. Who's going to win most likely?
Kevin, I'm sorry. This.
No, brother. No. I asked you a very see. Emotional men quit when faced with adversity.
This
I
is
asked you
not.
a very simple question, brother.
This has nothing to do with white supremacy.
No. See what you don't see. What you didn't ask. I asked you a very simple question. See what intelligent men can do is we can deal with abstracts. We can deal with analogies. And see what you can't do is when I asked you a simple question. Don't tell me what it doesn't have to do with. Can you answer my question?
This is ridiculous.
Right. Can you answer the question?
No, I cannot.
Okay, so you refuse to answer the question because anyone else would realize that the average team running plays is going to be the more skilled players who are just out here doing some shit. So when you say that I don't know, but I'll just go make some shit up, even your own lived experience goes against that. See, what you're talking about is white supremacy and all this other kind of stuff as a bigger boogeyman than it is. I don't deny that it exists. I've been in corporate America for 20 years. I've had to compete with these very white men that you don't even know what they're talking about. I've been promoted 7 times. I've gone from chemical engineering and mobile oil to entry-level account executive to VP to national accounts. So you can't match arms with me. You can't match experience with me. You don't have a daddy. You don't have a daddy. Let me teach you something, son. Your problem is not white men and white supremacy. It's your inability to understand, to be able to make good, sound decisions. You're making bad decisions. You don't even know why you're going to school or what you plan on doing with it. 5 years from now, you're just going to jump out. And then what? When it all falls apart, you're going to blame the white man? You doing his job for him.
No. We're all doing his job for him.
No, I'm not. When I went in to compete in corporate America, I won. I beat him. I went in and I got the job. I took my position. I took everything. I beat him. Beat him one-on-one, beat him on team. I beat him.
Until there are more Robert F. Smiths, we're not winning.
No. Robert F. Smith. What about Sebastian? Your self-interest. You have not said one thing that lines up with having a plan to get out here and compete and win, other than some white supremacy talk. How are you going to get out here and compete? Tell us.
Well, I basically said it. I'm going to get into entrepreneurship. I'm going to start my own so I don't have to work for him for the rest of my life.
Start your own what, my friend? Great, start your own what?
I don't know. I'll figure it out. Clothing brand, it doesn't matter now. I'll figure it out.
So why did you have to go? So why did you have to go into college debt to do that?
Well, obviously, I need something that's dependable for now.
So finance is dependable. What can you do with a finance degree?
Research. I don't know.
No.
The point is, Kevin,
I asked you, what can you do? You need something dependable. I don't dispute that. But what can you do with a finance degree? What kind of income? What kind of starting positions? You're 20. You should be able to know these things, man. I'm not saying any of this stuff is wrong. You want to go start your own. Great. You could have did that without going to college, but you said, I need something stable. Okay, great. What are you going to do that's stable? Some ideas. What can you do?
I haven't fully thought about it yet.
Okay, you haven't fully thought about it. And you're a sophomore?
This has nothing to do against racism and white supremacy, but okay.
No, and what I just said is, how do white men have anything to do with the individual black man right here? That was my first statement. White supremacy is out there. Racism is out there. But are you even equipped to go out there?
No, I'm not. Not right about now, no.
So how are you equipping yourself?
But you're putting down black men. You're no
I'm
different
not putting
than
down,
those black women on these
again, I'm
YouTube.
not putting down black men. I'm speaking about what I know. The truth is not a put down. And I asked you, how are you equipping yourself as a black man? And the unfortunate reality is you've been exposed as the very issue you're talking about. You're unequipped. And me telling you you're unequipped is not an insult.
Not my
It's not
fault.
an insult. You're not equipped. You're not ready. You're not even thinking long term. You're not even thinking short term. And then you're talking about stuff that is out there, but that's not your immediate problem. See, here's the thing. If we were to experience a cataclysm in this country and you wake up and all this modern technology is gone, everything's gone. We're back to hunter-gatherer society. Your number one responsibility is not the internet. It's not shoes. It's not a bed. It's water. We have to do things in a consistent, disciplined, structured way. Your number one concern is clean water. You can starve over 6 to 8 weeks. You will die of thirst in 72 hours. That is your
Okay.
number one concern. Hold on. You didn't have a father to teach you. Let me teach you some things. You have water, shelter, then food,
I want to
then
apologize
safety.
to Kev. He is right, sat down with my white manager about career path. He literally said everything Kev is saying.
Thank you, Angelo, because I've been there and I've done that. So Sebastian, while you have a man who's been there and done that, you're still sitting back telling me what I'm not doing. Well, I'll tell you what, Sebastian, seeing as though my lived experience, my personal experience, my professional experience is enough, you tell the black men what they need to do.
I'll tell them what they need to do.
Go ahead, because you're obviously doing it.
One, they need to stop being wimps and deal with the burdens of masculinity. Two, they need to take care of their kids. And three, they need to compete against the goddamn white man.
Okay. Can you please be more, please be more specific, and this had nothing to do with children. They need to stop being wimps. No, they need to stop being wimps, such as?
I mean, no one else thinks about working for someone else all day but blacks.
Says the guy going to white man school.
We have no choice.
Right. So let me get this right. It is wimpy to go out and work for somebody else.
Never said that.
Well, I asked you, what do you mean? He said, we're the ones that think about working for somebody else all the time. That's what you said.
We don't think about the idea of ownership. We don't think about the idea of not being dependent upon whites.
Okay, so let me ask you, in any given society, but in this country in particular, how many people, what percentage of the men should be entrepreneurs and business owners?
I'll say about realistically 30%.
30%. 30%. So that means 7 out of 10 black men cannot be that. What are those? Are they wimps?
It depends.
Oh, really? Do explain.
Well, it's all about the mindset. I don't care if a black man happens to be a janitor, so long as he acknowledges what's going on, it doesn't matter. I'd rather have a black janitor who understands and is conscious about life, who makes $10 an hour, versus some black executive who is a white man with a tan. That's my opinion.
You said we need to stop being wimps, and when asked what that means,
some advice, sir. Is there a Zoom link?
Just a second, Antoine. You said we need to stop being wimps, start taking care of our own children. And what was the other one? Anyway,
oh yeah,
go ahead.
Ownership. That was it.
But I asked you, what exactly does it mean being wimps? You said we're the only group of people who think about working for folks all day long. All right, then I asked you, what percentage of men should be working for themselves? 30%. So by logic, by your own logic, 7 out of 10 of those men are going to have to think about working for someone else. That makes them wimps according to your definition. But then you turn around and say, well, they're not really wimps, because as long as they are woke, as long as they're woke. But let me ask you a question. What can a janitor who's woke and an executive black man who can actually hire black people, who's more beneficial to the black cause?
We know most of those black executives want nothing
I
to
ask
do
you
with
who's
black
more
people.
beneficial. I ask you who's more beneficial. Because you can tell me we know anything. You're looking at a black man who every time he could hire black, he did. So you can miss me with that bullshit. I asked you who was more beneficial. Who has the potential to be more beneficial? How about that? The man who has hiring and firing authority or the guy who's cleaning the toilet?
Well, the black guy
Poten-
capable of hiring.
Right. Just like somebody had the potential to change your life by admitting you to university or not. Just like somebody has to have the potential to change your life by offering you an internship or not. Just like someone has the potential to change your life many different ways. You have to have a potential power. But then you're telling black men, we need to start worrying about working for somebody. How about we start worrying how to get the most we can from working for somebody, because everybody ain't meant to work for themselves. It's in the description. Now, as far as worrying about taking care of our kids, that's not even part of this subject. It's about corporate America. And then I don't believe the last part was about ownership. Guys, what was the third part he made? What was the third point he made? Because the first point was ownership. Second point was kids. But again, you've given some very broad things. But you talk about these, we know these black men out here and executives are what? So black men who have moved up, they're not black. They're all secretly Oreos, sellouts, coons. Is that what you're trying to say?
Most of them cross.
Most of them what?
To an extent.
I didn't hear you. You broke
Yes,
up.
to an extent. Most of them I came across were like that.
Okay. And you said Robert Smith, does he fall in that category?
Yes, he does.
Okay. So Robert Smith is, and why is he in that category?
Well, just look at his wife. Prime
Okay.
example.
So Robert Smith is a sellout and a coon because of his wife. So if you were in the graduating class of Morehouse, you would have turned the money down? Yes or no?
No, I would have not.
Oh, see, again, Sebastian proves.
No.
No, hold on, brother. I'll let you speak. Sebastian, you've again proven that you're full of shit. You would easily take the white man's money, take the white man's college, take the white man's debt. You'll easily take the coon's money. What you gonna, but what you gonna do for yourself?
Easy. I'm gonna take that coon's money and
All right, man.
apply it back to.
We're pretty much. I appreciate you calling in though, because you're exactly the kind of guy that who's out here, who you're more focused, you're more passionate about this racial bullshit than the real practical issues in your
It's
own
real.
life. Yeah, it's real, but it's not immediate. It's not
Oh,
immediate.
it's immediate.
Okay, you're okay, and there we go. This is why I say some black men are too mad to win. We're talking to a guy who's 20 years old in college, has no plans, doesn't even know what he can do with a finance degree. Talking about, I'll just get out and start my own business and just do some shit. I mean, too mad to win. Too mad to win. And that's the kind of guy that will, when he fails, as he will likely do, fail, he will blame everyone else other than looking to see what he could have done. It is sad to hear black men talk about black men who had the intestinal fortitude, the balls, the ability to get out there and compete and win, call another black man a sellout because he married to a white woman. Forget the fact. So who he married now, forget who he is, forget what he's done. But then you're the same people who don't want to be judged. Good luck with all that. Good luck with all that. I'm gonna tell you something personally. I think a lot of guys like this, I think a lot of guys like this are really just frustrated. Wound up, man. Wow, incels don't have plans or ambitions. Well, when I hear a man who has no plans or ambitions, I tend to go to that route because, like, what are you doing this for? You're just in debt, going into debt for the finance degree. And the reality is, you really can't do shit with a finance degree. A finance degree is right up there with a marketing degree. And going to school to start your own business is rather insane, in my opinion. Can you be for black people with a white woman? Yeah. Hello? Yeah, it's a vague degree. That's why I'm keeping this going. That's why I'm keeping this going. Antoine, you're in the waiting room. Let me put you in the waiting room. Hold on. Go ahead, Angelo.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. What do you got for us?
Oh
An-
yeah. Yeah. So I just want to do a quick, a quick story. So because I was on the YouTube earlier. I was one of the ones talking to you. I was with the one that was like real combative, all this other stuff. And yeah, I mean I sent the super chat, but I just wanted to apologize again because later on that day, what I did was, so I cut my hair. I had like a bush. I had hair. I had a little bit of hair on me, and so I cut it, and basically I was just trying to see if basically what you were saying was correct. You know what I mean? So so right when I cut it, one of the things that happened was one of the people at my job looks at me and they go, "Oh, you cut your hair. Now you look really business professional." So right when she said that, I was like, okay, all right.
Who was
And
who was this? Was this person a fellow? Were they a fellow coworker? Were they a manager?
yeah, manager.
Okay.
Yep. And then the other thing was I sat down with my manager and I had a conversation with him about just about my career path and just as far as how I can move up and things like that. And also, brought up like, cause he had on like dress shoes. So I brought up, what I mean, how he had great pair of dress shoes, stuff like that. So basically, when the conversation that he ended up having with me was basically of how, and it was almost like he watches your videos in a way. It was like he basically had the conversation of, he was saying like he knows a story about a person who was African American and he was running into problems and he had dreads and he realized that the dreads was was the cause of why he was running into so many problems. And yeah, and he just said that basically, that people, they're always just going to judge you, no matter what it is. You get what I'm saying? So and this is a white man talking. He just said, so you gotta he just basically told me you gotta play the role, and you can't let a wall get in your way
Right.
of getting what you want to get, basically. And yeah, so I just want to tell that story because I was just like, I don't want to say just like the last caller. He was on different other things, but I definitely was disagreeing with you all the way at first, but I really do. I really do see what you were saying. I really do want to apologize for that.
Well, I mean, see, I appreciate the fact that that you were at least able to go out and see it for yourself. You acted on the information. You can disagree, but then when you
Sure.
acted on it yourself, you got a chance to see just like that. And then having the courage to call back to tell people that, you know what, I was wrong, or I should have did that. That means a lot, because I want to get to the place where black men aren't arguing with each other. We're just exchanging knowledge and acting on it versus having to dispute. You ain't right, because
Right.
we lose steps, because arguably it could be said that a black man was telling you something that you needed a woman and a white man to verify.
Right. Exactly.
And that's really more dangerous than any form of white supremacy or anything else like that. That as black men, we can we can't help each other until we get, co-signed on by a white man and a woman, which lines up with being a bunch of single mother-led guys. I get it though, but I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you tuning back in. And Antoine, what you got for me?
How you doing, Kevin?
I'm good. Thanks, Angelo.
Yeah, I just have a bit of a dilemma here. I was just going to get some of your perspective here.
Okay.
So 35 years old, area sales director.
Your area sales director?
Yeah, area sales director, outside sales.
Okay.
I make a good living for myself.
Okay.
Been in corporate America for about 17 years already.
Okay.
And the struggle is real, man. I mean, like, obviously I listen to what you say often.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you've been in the corporate world for about 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge I see is when there's a time when, as a corporate professional, you can only take so much. The beating is real. The beating is real. So I have an opportunity that's in front of me right now to move the entire family to Bangalore, India.
Okay.
Just came back from Malaysia about 3 years ago from running the operations there. They moved me to San Jose after that. So I spent a year in San Jose. Now I'm in Austin. Now they want me to go to Bangalore.
Okay. So what's the question?
The question is should I stay in the corporate world, right? Continuing to put up with the dragging and the beating. And I started a company in 2018, or should I really just get out of it, man? That's the question.
How old are you?
35.
And are you married?
Of course.
Okay. Children?
2, 5, and 3.
Okay, so they're still young. So young children.
Absolutely.
First, is your wife working?
No, she isn't. She doesn't
All
need
right.
to.
So obviously, as a married man, our calculus has to be different.
Absolutely.
Whatever you do, your wife's gonna have to be on board with it.
She always was, always is.
All right. So as an area sales manager, how many direct reports do you have?
6.
Okay, Jamar, I'm going to put you in, but I'm going to mute you. You have 6 direct reports.
Okay.
And are you in the position you're in? Are you like the job with your people?
Let's put it like this, Kevin. I am a leader amongst men. I chose to go the sales route to get the experience to accelerate my career to the senior vice president level. And I'm on that level. I'm on that path now. And our executives are saying, stick with us, Antoine. It's a beating. Right. It's a beating.
Right. And there's the thing, though. And it's going to be a beating because that's what it takes.
Yeah. I get it.
So understand something. So if you're telling me your wife is going to support you one way or another, what you really have to ask yourself is, if it's time, if you've learned as much as you can in corporate America and got as much as you can, is it time to eject? That's really what you're asking. That's why I'm trying to understand if you love the job, what you're doing, and if you still have a passion for it.
Well, here's the thing, right?
For me, and there comes a time in the sales, but I got tired of doing the job. I didn't get tired of the environment. I got tired of doing the job. I got tired of knocking on the door and doing all that other kind of stuff. That's when I knew it was time to leave. Sounds to me like what you're saying is you're tired of the corporate beating.
Well, and you're right. You're right. I think the corporate beating is not just, I say this all the time. It's the America way of operating, right?
Well, I will put it to you this way. It sounds to me like your mind's already made up. You're just looking for somebody to tell you to go. if your wife is supportive and you have enough of a nest egg, look, do it for 3 years. Go for 3 years. Your children will still be your 5-year-old at best will be 9. Your 3-year-old will be 6. They'll get the benefit of living in a different country.
Again.
And you can always come back, and you still are not so far outside the corporate window.
Right.
Because honestly, what I'm hearing from you is you've lost all passion for the fight.
Well, I think it's daily. You understand from a sales perspective. I think from operations, I never have lost that fight. From a sales perspective, absolutely.
And that's the thing.
The Monday morning meetings that you have to.
And that's the thing. That's why professional career consulting is so valuable. And I'm just saying at a glance. But again, so I try to tell people, for a 1 hour investment, you're talking about 3 years of a lifetime, and who knows as far as how much compensation. But that would be initial glance. That's what it sounds to me like. You already know that you want to take this opportunity. Take it.
Yeah.
You can always come back.
Appreciate the help, man. I'll look up. I'll look you up for a consultation as
I'll
well.
put a
too, man.
link. I'll
Appreciate it.
put the exact link in the chat room. Okay,
Appreciate it, man.
appreciate
Thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Jamar, what do you got for us?
What's going on? I'm a big fan of the show. I'm a former naval officer.
Okay.
And currently straddling the line actually between corporate America and entrepreneurship.
Okay.
14 years in the military as an officer, and I made a fatal mistake. I got Me Too before there was a Me Too with a text conversation.
Yeah.
A text conversation. Now, at the time, I was completely straight edge. I mean, I was playing the game to a T.
Mm-hmm.
I was #1 training officer in Newport, Rhode Island. One of my students, who was also an officer, I was in 03, she was in 01, invited me to a bar. And at the time, I was completely straight edge, so I declined. And I didn't think anything of it, but basically a couple of days later, I got called into the office for sexual harassment.
Yep. Been there, done that.
Yeah. And so I spent 14 years, right from high school all the way through, got my undergrad, got my master's, and I was on track to be a 20-year officer. And it got completely derailed. And so I kind of lost the taste for.
Right. So what's the question?
Drive. So my question is, in straddling where I'm at right now is I'm straddling the line between entrepreneurship. Like, I feel like I have enough information to just fully consult on my own, but I'm consulting right
what?
now.
Consulting what?
So sales and marketing. I've been.
So let me ask you this.
Okay.
Who would your customer be?
So right now I've got 7 customers that I'm consulting with right now I'm helping with their speaking and their video.
But who's
marketing.
your customer? Are you going out? Okay, let me make it more.
Okay, I got you. What you're saying.
Are you going business to business or business to consumer? Are you working with businesses or individuals?
Right now, I'm working with my biggest contract right now is a B2B. So I'm consulting with a group of insurance.
Do you want to work
agents.
B2B or B2C? You got to make that decision.
I know. That's the hard thing because I have way more B2C customers, but the B2B pay more.
Yes, always. And I was a B2B rep for. I don't like B2C.
Okay.
But B2C is easier entrepreneurially.
Yes.
What is your end customer has to be what? Who are you going to actually be out there knocking on doors and selling? And what's your product or service? That's what you have to ask yourself. What is my product or service, and who is my customer? Because you have to define your market. Then after you define your market, you have to decide whether or not how to compete in that market.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that's what you talk about entrepreneurially. But if you did it, go ahead.
No, I'm listening. Go ahead.
But if you decided to go stay in corporate America or go to corporate America, what would you be doing?
Well, that's the thing. I was just marching in an MLK parade last week with my B2B client, which is a farmers district in downtown Los Angeles. And, I'm meeting.
Farmers insurance?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a lot of experience. I had my extra. I used to have my Series 7 and that broke into a 6 and 63. But anyway, let's go. So you would go, if you went to work, you'd go work in insurance?
Well, they are my main, one of the districts in Los Angeles is my main client right now. So I'm helping them with their marketing, their sales. They do a lot of commercial sales, but their life sales.
If you went to work for somebody, who would it be? That's the one. See, you got to get more granular.
Okay.
Understand an entrepreneurial path, but if you went to work for a company, what industry, what company, who would you be working for?
Well, my thing is I want to stay entrepreneurial, but either servicing B2B or B2C. But honestly, for me, what I'm thinking about, because looking at the topic of the stream, which is, are we too mad to win, right? And I still have a lot of resentment about what happened to me from the military.
Okay, well, I mean, all right. So this is where coaching really comes in. You need help
Got it.
because this is too personal for you, and this is why
Got it.
coaches are good. We're impartial. I can look at it from a distance and help you separate. You got several questions you're trying to answer.
No, I see what you're saying. No, I understand what
You
you're
got
saying.
several questions you're trying to answer, and then here's the net of it. At the end of the day, you're gonna have to strap them up and get back in the game.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
whatever happened. Okay. You still gotta compete. And
Totally. Yeah, I'm
having
competing.
that
I'm
out
winning.
there as factoring in the equation is not
It's
smart.
pointless. Yeah,
It's
I got
pointless.
you. It's pointless. So let me get to a granular question. My question for you would be, if you would, knowing what you know now, if you have the opportunity to branch and build your own firm, either B2B or B2C, which would you prefer and why?
That's too much. My answer for you is not going to help you.
Okay.
I mean, this is why the answer is you need a consult, because you're asking me to take my lived experience and my knowledge to distill it down to make it useful to you. That's not going to, how confident would you be making a decision based upon?
No, I know. I just wanted like a general. I mean, I wasn't asking for like a
In
specific,
general, the best thing to do is to hire a coach and actually go down and make a plan and work it. Because here's what ends up happening far too often. People get stuck in analysis paralysis and what could and what should and and you're wasting time.
Absolutely.
Because until you get in it, when I started my business, I thought it was that was the one thing I knew more than anything else. I had to get started.
Yep.
Because all the theory goes out the fucking window when you're in the race. You're in it.
Yep.
You're still in the theory part. So that would be my suggestion.
Okay.
You say you got 7 clients, right?
Yes, sir.
Take the leap.
Yep. Roger that. No, it's like the last caller. We already know what the right answer is, but sometimes you need that little bit of a push in the
Well,
direction.
and that's why I say it's valuable to get one-on-one time, because
Yeah.
there are specific questions that honestly I can't really address in a
Without the
show like
details.
this, other than
Absolutely.
just vague. And these are big decisions.
Absolutely.
Because and here's the thing, I hired a coach before I actually stepped out and left a $150,000 salary to start an image consulting business for a Black man in Oklahoma. Are you kidding me?
No, I feel you 100%. I mean, I believe in investing in myself, so that goes
We all
without
believe in
question.
ourselves, but that don't mean shit. We still got to go compete. How many motherfuckers believe in themselves, landed on the beach in Normandy and got shot the fuck up? Come on, man. We still got to have a plan.
No. I didn't mean that I believe in myself. I invest in myself, meaning hiring coaches, consultants.
And the funniest thing is, it's easier to work a plan than work an idea.
Yep. Okay.
Ideas are always out there. Plans are easier to work. Got it?
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye. So, guys, see, and that's what I love to hear from brothers. Options. Brother got Me Too, but he's still out here in the fight. A brother is already trying to move up. Company is saying, stay with us. And he's making a decision, you know what? I'm going to go try another opportunity. That's winning. That's what winning looks like. You're in the game. Brother was an area sales manager, had 6 direct reports. I would take that guy and his ability to potentially help other men than the janitor. It's a matter of position and power. A guy who's contemplating starting his own either B2B or B2C, either way, he's going to have clients and he's going to need services. He'll have to hire someone to create a website for him. He'll have to, all kinds of things you'll need, because all businesses have to go get customers. I don't care what you're doing. And that's where, honestly, most small business fails, because the owner cannot sell. Let me give you a little knowledge. You can be the best product or service, but if no one's signing the contracts, it doesn't matter. Luckily for me, I am a former corporate salesperson. I was all, and even when I was doing entrepreneurial work, I was the salesperson. I was going out and getting the contract signed. Black men, I hope more of you get into sales. Truly, I do. I truly hope more brothers get into sales. Oh, that would be a dope show. That would be a dope show. Get brothers getting into sales, because here's the thing. You rebels, you lone wolves, you Sigma males, you would thrive in corporate sales. You would thrive because you are a producer, you're competitive. And you would also be inside the system to where you could listen and learn and see and hear systems. And then you could actually start creeping into those areas to where you normally wouldn't, outside you wouldn't be, but you'd be close enough to where you can learn from Brad and Ahmed and Lee and Enrique. You can learn this stuff. So then you could use it to your advantage to move up or leave and go start your own firm competing with that. Being a closer, being a salesperson, being a pitch guy, other small businesses will hire you to come in and say, you know what, we got this government contract, we got this, we got that. We're socially awkward introverts, we're not good salespeople. We want to sign you up for a contract to close this deal. I used to make freelance money helping my buddies do this kind of stuff on the side. Sales is everything. So what's the number for the show? Yeah, sales is great for Black men. Let's talk about it. Guys, if you guys want to talk about sales and actually getting into sales or learning sales or how to actually make the most money you can working for other people and have the most autonomy and freedom and be as valuable as possible, that's sales. If you guys want me to extend the show, I will. We're gonna have to get the likes up to over 200, and I'm gonna need at least 5 people to donate. If you want me to extend the show, I'm gonna need to get the likes up to over 200. I mean, at least 5 people to donate. Yes, you're always employable if you're a good salesman. Always. Always. Yeah, guys. Let's get the likes up.
Donation to keep it going.
Appreciate it. I also want to do this thing. We're going to keep it going. I'd like to answer some questions, but we can also, if you're in sales existing, or if you're interested in getting in sales, let's do it. Let's start the panel. If you're in sales existing or you're interested.
I got 5 on it.
I'm going to put in there the sales. I'm going to change the title of the show now to the sales panel. Ask a professional. Let's do that. Ask a professional. Let's talk sales. Let's talk sales. I'm going to tell you right now, guys. Sales, oh my God, it changed my life. It changed my life. I've told you guys how I was an engineer and I hated it. But I became a salesperson and it changed my life. And I honestly, truly, God is my witness. I truly believe sales is the best industry for Black men to be in. God is my witness, I believe this. Because you can choose how much money you make. A salesperson can decide to give himself a raise. I've signed contracts with skinheads. I'm talking about Mein Kampf sitting on the counter and a swastika on his left, on his fucking calf. But he needed what I was selling. Sales is a transferable skill. Salespeople don't get fired. Salespeople don't get fired. Salespeople, I prefer to talk B2B sales. Business to business sales is the best. Here's the link for the show. I prefer to talk business to business sales. Salespeople don't get fired. Let me talk about brother was on earlier, Jamar. When he said he got me too. I had a woman accuse me. I fired her for a cause after she had been talked to, verbal warning written up. She turned in a fraudulent sale 5:30 on her last day of employment, a sale that I knew was fraudulent. And I went ahead and went through with the termination. She had already been on a 90-day plan. But you know what she did? Like most women, well, he sexually harassed me. You're talking to a man who was pre-IPO stock with a company. I wasn't in the founding round, but I was in the second round. They said, Kevin, we know this is a lie. We know it's a lie, but you know what? What are
your thoughts on the agency recruiting?
Let me answer that in a second. So Kevin, as a company insider, we have to investigate it. We have to play the game. I was so freaking mad that this woman could come in and cheat and call up. She came in and cheated. That's what I thought it was. I thought of it as cheating. I was like, this woman was supposed to be fired today. She ain't even showed up to work all week, but then she comes in and accuses me of something this disgusting. I'm like, yeah, man, I was pissed, but they said, Kevin, we got to play the game. We have to investigate it. And this is when I want you to go back to watch Boardwalk Empire. Chalky White, the guy who played Chalky White, was in business with Nucky, and they hung Chalky White's driver. And Nucky came to him and said, Chalky, no. And you need to tell your people no. It's an election year. You can't do anything. And that black man, in front of all them black folks, had to sit there and eat it. He had to eat it. He had to tell his people to back down. But you know what he did? He's like 50%. He got his deal up from 35 to 50% because Chalky knew he could not go out and get revenge because it would mess up the business. I knew that at that time. Kevin, you're being called on to be more than yourself. It ain't personal. It's business. The woman played a check move and the company has to do what it needs to do. I was mad. But you know what I said? I negotiated for more stock. Y'all want me to sit quiet on this? Great. I need 1,000 more shares of stock. Because this chick gets to walk around this office looking like she beat me. No. And after they investigated, 2 weeks later, it was found out that it was baseless. She was let go. And I was like, I want to go after her and get that money back. I wanted all that money. It was thanks to 30 days. I was like, I want that money back. They're like, Kevin, let it go. I'm like, I just didn't want her to beat me. What I realized, and then they told me at that time that we knew she was lying. We knew that wasn't you. I mean, we paid $30,000 to relocate you up there. You weren't going to waste your time on her. Honestly, one of the women in HR said, I laughed at her. Kevin, you only date hot women. I mean, that woman's cute, but she's nowhere hot enough for you. That's the power of being in sales. Had I just been a Joe Blow employee or a Joe Blow manager, if I wasn't producing, her word may carry more weight. It might have been a black eye on the company. But think about some of these diva football players and athletes. When you're a producer, you get the benefit of the doubt. And that's what sales is. Sales. There's no room for BS in sales. You got to get to the reality. There's no what it should be or what I wish it was. You eat what you kill. There's a variety of sales. The purest form of sales is commission-based. 100% commission sales pays you the most possible, but it also gives you the most risk. The ideal form of sales for most guys is salary and commission. Something like business to business, B2B sales. You'll get a salary. If you're starting out, it's going to be around in the $35,000 range. Total commission package about $80,000. That's entry level. Or senior level, $50,000 range. Total commission package at 110%. You get a car allowance because you got to drive your car. There are no more company cars. So you get anywhere from $500 to $700 a month for a car allowance. So they're basically buying your car. Then you get an expense account. So you have a base salary to live on while you're out in training and ramping up. Most people want a 40-60 split. However, in sales, as you become better, more effective presenter, closer, prospector, when you start to get to the point where you automate your process to where you got leads coming in from different places, from your BNI groups, from your network associations, from your chamber, from your contacts, to where you're not having to go out, knock on doors or make cold calls, to where you spend most of your time on appointments. You can become a salesperson to where you go into work and on Monday, you have 8 appointments already set, to where you're just going on appointments. That's at bats. When you're going on appointments, all you have to do is close. And if you go from a 20% close rate to a 30% close rate, you just increased your pay by 50%. Sales. You get to use the things that are naturally in our favor. Your appearance, your image, your height, your shoulders, how you look in a suit, your smell, your voice. All these things come into play. The ability to sell and the ability to maintain is something else. See, there are some people who just want to be straight salespeople where they got to continue to kill. Then there's somebody like a business development manager who has a new business goal. You got to sell new accounts, but you also need to maintain a book of business. And that is what is the closest to being a business owner is. See, a true salesperson, you're always about to hunt. You're always about to close. They bring you in, you close the deal. Think about a bunch of one-night stands. But a business development manager, it's like a relationship or a marriage. And that's why you see a lot of executives who are in long-term relationships or marriages, because you get to handle accounts for the company that represent a lot of money. Let's say you work for you're an advertising agency. Every company that is doing business is revenue for the company. If you're in charge of that customer or that relationship, you own a significant portion of the company's success. What happens if you go out and start your own business and take a lot of these companies with you to start your own business? That's what you can also do in sales. So oftentimes in sales, they'll ask you to sign a non-compete. Non-compete agreements are thrown out of court 90% of the time. The average non-compete agreement won't hold up. So getting to go out into sales puts you in a position to earn the most amount of money, to learn the inner workings of these companies, to learn about the sales process, the fulfillment process, all these things, and to look at it. And it's like you're going from checkers to chess, and you see the entire board, to where you can be like that last caller and say, you know what? Why am I going to work for them? And I'm accepting a salary and this commission. But at the end of the day, I'm capped. Why don't I just do this for myself? Why don't most people go into sales for themselves? Because they don't know how to write the contracts up. They don't offer the product or service that the customer is looking for. But the thing is, you can very well, with the company you're working for, if they have affiliate or resellers or something like that, you can make your own LLC and buy from them and sell to the customer. You got down to who he really is. Yeah. See, and that's one thing that Black men are really, really good at. We're good at sales. It requires us to become more effective communicators. This is where you actually need your sales training because you know, in the Black community, we tend to use our own dialects. You have to take out the yes and huns. You have to yes. Learning how to speak more clearly and enunciate fully puts you in a position to be able to get a higher caliber of client. So you don't want to stay in entry level sales. You want to continue to move up. But the thing is, you will always have a job as a great salesperson. Always have a great job. And when you are known as a great salesperson, companies come actively recruiting you. Somebody asked, what are your thoughts on agency recruiting? Recruiters. I love recruiting. Why? Truthfully, recruiting is like pimping. That's what I call recruiters pimps, because that's what they do. But recruiters, good recruiters, are worth their weight in gold, because to be able to have the right candidate for a company saves that company hundreds of thousands of dollars. I need you guys to understand the A player model. If you're a business owner, you only want to hire A players. A players hire other A players. Listen to what I'm about to say now. B players hire C players. Why? Because B players know they're not A players. So they can't have anybody there who can challenge them. So B players are going to hire C players. C players hire D players. And F players are wash. Hiring one C player can cost you 6 times their annual salary in a bad hire. Hiring an F player can cost the company 15 times the annual salary. So think about if you have a $100,000 a year job or a $50,000 a year job. Make it more realistic. You're a small business owner, you hire somebody and you pay them $20 an hour, $40,000 a year. If that person doesn't work out, they can cost you as much as $240,000 in lost time and productivity trying to replace them. And if they're an F player, they can cost you as much as $600,000. They can come in and screw up your current customer base, screw up your current contracts, mess up all kinds of things. Think about what a bad employee can do inside their organization. You only want to hire A players. That's why you only want to associate with A-level talent. A players come in like myself and they want to win. They want the challenge. They want to say, here's where I'm sucking at. Tell me where I suck. A players have an energy. A players make sure that you keep getting promoted because they're going to push to get promoted. So this is why, another thing, let's bring it back to Black men. When the guy talked about white supremacy. You know what racism and white supremacy falls short? In sales. My manager I often speak about his name was DJ. That was a white man from Boston, and he and I could not be more opposite. I hated DJ. But we got together when it was time to do business, and we made a lot of money together. And we both got promoted several times working together. Understand something, black men, that other groups of men can put together all kind of all kind of hatred to do business. We got to get to the point to where we don't see it's possible because we're not that good at putting that stuff off. But in 2020 going forward, you are not going to be successful long term if you are not collaborating and working on a team, even in this more decentralized solopreneur kind of career. In order to be successful long term, you are going to have to be able to collaborate, work together, teamwork, and build. Shout out to O'Shea. O'Shea's channels and businesses are growing because he has the ability to collaborate and build. He has people working for him. That's when you're really in business for yourself. We solopreneurs, we're still working. We're still working. You may be very well paid. You're still working. You truck drivers, same thing. But when you're sitting in the office directing other people with the payroll, and you don't have to go out and kill everything you eat, then you're in business. I don't think you're in business for yourself until you actually are employing somebody. Come on, guys. So if you guys don't have any questions about how to get in sales, if you have any questions, now's your time. Because I would tell you, sales is something that will never go away. Businesses will always have a product or a service that needs to be sold to the end user, to the market. The internet won't change that. Good salespeople who keep up with the technology and keep up with the times will always be employed. Why do you think so many guys in my generation have an issue with younger guys? Conflict. You don't see me beefing with anybody. I'm on all the technologies. I keep up with what's going on. My ears to the ground. Also, it keeps you sharp. You can't get lazy. All right, Antoine, appreciate it. What do I think of The Werewolf by Jordan Belfort? I think he is a great channel. I actually like Jordan Belfort approach more than Grant Cardone. I think Grant Cardone is he's a great motivator, but pure sales, Jordan Belfort and Grant Cardone, when they did their show together, Jordan Belfort exposed Grant Cardone. I mean, it was pathetic as far as I was concerned. Jordan Belfort is a pure salesman, and I love pure salesmen. See, I don't think people really understand the value of sales. Everything in the world, every invention that's out there, everything that makes life great had to be sold. Now, can you imagine a world with no lights, no electricity? Thomas Edison had to install the first electric light for free in Congress before they would even listen to him. The automobile, airplane, there's always a new technology and idea that promises to make life better, but it has to be sold. A lot of you guys may not, for guys who are under 40, in the late 90s, people thought the internet was a fad. When I was out selling access to the internet, I had business owners laughing to internet. Oh, that's just a fad. That's not going to change the way business is done. Look at Jeff Bezos. Tell me where your local Borders Books is, where your local Barnes and Noble is, Hollywood Video, Blockbuster Video. Things always change, and salespeople, good salespeople, are always right there on the cutting edge. Salespeople make more money, have more job security as long as you're producing. And here's the upside of it. Tend to have pretty hot wives. These guys tend to work out. They can move around. They have the most opportunity because you make the company flow. Two cats wouldn't be scared of cold approaching if they would. There you go. I made a video on my YouTube, on my Patreon. Many guys are afraid of cold approaching because you don't know how to cold call. You knock on 50 doors a day, physically knock on 50 doors or pick up the phone 50 times, you'll start building up scar tissue and a resistance to rejection pretty quick. So gentlemen, I hope this show helped. I hope this helped. If you are interested in booking some one-on-one time to learn how to become a more effective communicator, here's my interpersonal communication. Learn how to become a more effective communicator. This is a skill that can be learned. If you want to talk more and more one-on-one about your career or some career advice, career mapping, that kind of stuff, here we go. And if you want the advice line, hold on. We got somebody else that just joined in. JL, you just dropped off. What about tech sales? All sales. All sales. I'm going to figure out, you're going to start a business selling microgreens. The downside of sales, you can't get caught living beyond your means. You get sales breath. No. Let me expand. First of all, Eric, I get what you're trying to say, but when I was a salesperson, I actually have a manager. I had a very conservative manager just asked me not to drive my BMW out to the client because they may think we're paying our salespeople too much. I say, yeah, okay, I hear you. You know, I'm shocked though. I mean, we wouldn't ask the women to not wear makeup or high heels, go out there looking pretty. See, oftentimes when people say that kind of stuff, pissing out the customer, Eric, you got to ask yourself a question. If I was coming to your house or your place of business to sell you on why I should be your finance guy, your stock guy, your money guy, and I drove up in a beat up, if I drove up in a Chevy Malibu with, you know, with a sad looking suit on and a Timex watch, are you going to invest your $100,000 with me? No. But if I drove up looking like money, are you going to dress? Are you going to invest your money with me? Yes. I have, as a professional salesperson, I've never had someone not do business with me because I look good or because I was dressed a certain way, because I was dressed better than them. I've had managers, not managers, I've had coworkers who I made them look bad in the office, try to get me to dress down and be less. I'm like, no, I want it to be hard on you. It's not my fault you decided to go out and get fat. Keep up. But you better be able to bring that smoke too. Yes, clients need to know they're dealing with successful people. That's what they need to do. So guys, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Do we need more shows like this? I mean, obviously they're not going to have 500-600 people, but do we need more shows like this? Do we need more shows like this? If so, what you can do to say thank you is to become a patron of the channel. Because I would love to do more shows like this, have people who are currently out in different industries, real estate, finance, CBD, whatever. Because honestly, when we start talking about making you be the best version of yourself, personal development, which leads directly into professional development, that's something as a man you can really sink your teeth into. Then you actually have things to talk about. We're not talking about what if, we're talking about what is. And what is, do you think an older car puts cars off? It depends on what you're doing. An older car doesn't necessarily put people off, but you have to look professional. And if you're driving a Shelby, I mean, it depends on what you're driving. And you got to ask yourself, people are very simple. It has to be good enough. There's a guy on YouTube, his name Dan Locke, and he's called himself Boss in a Bentley. And people like doing business with successful people. Can you pay annually, Carl? Not via Patreon, but you can gladly make a donation. I wish they'd allow you to pay annually. Sales role plays, those are more on Patreon. The connection between sales and image. If you're a product on the shelf, would I buy you? Oh yeah. See, I love role plays. But Morning Blue, also, I will be launching my course catalog by March, and a lot of these things will be in there. Because even learning these sales skills, if you're not in sales, are valuable. A lot of my buddies are engineers and accountants, and I've taught them basic sales skills to help them become more effective engineers and accountants and in their personal lives. Because you're always going to have to sell somebody on something. If you want to get married, you're going to have to sell your wife on you be a good husband. You're going to have to, if you got to sell people all throughout your life. Can I get on the call? Yeah. Quickly though, quickly. I'm gonna get off by 8:30. Go ahead. I probably appreciate it. Yeah, the dating, and the funny thing about dating and all that stuff, successful men who are out there actually hustling, grinding, living successful lives, leading broad lives. Last night I went to a Tool concert. You think I had any problem last night living my life? You say I do role plays, you hate it, I literally shut down. Eric, that's something we can work on, man. These courses are going to be on Teachable. They're going to be on Teachable. They're going to be on Teachable. Deputy, dating is another form of sales, yeah. At my assistant director on my Patreon level comes with mentorship. So if you are looking for a mentor, I mean, over 24 years old, you're going to pay for men. You're going to have to hire a coach or pay for, because finding a mentor organically over 24 is not really going to do it. At the AD level, you get 2 mentorships a call, 2 20-minute mentorships a call. Yep. 2 20-minute mentorship calls every month, which is pretty cool, man. Hell, I wish I'd have had mentor in a box like that. All right, well, the guy didn't get on the show. I'm gonna give him 2 more minutes. I don't see him on here. Role plays and you shut down. See, there's a trick with that, man. If you're shutting down on role plays, it's usually because you're not a confident speaker, or you haven't written down your turnarounds, your ways to overcome objections. You're not asking clarifying or probing questions. Notice when I'm interviewing someone, do I ever seem like I'm off target? I'm always leading somebody somewhere, and I do a combination of open-ended versus closed-ended questions because I'm always thinking of where I want to get to. And in a role play, there's a path every sales has. Every sales call has a path. You start out here, opening, this, that, presentation, objection, this, that, that. You need to know where you are. And see, unfortunately, most salespeople have never written that path down. So when a client throws out an objection or something is out of place, they just get frazzled and they just kind of like start spinning all over and they can never get back to the path. May I call about sales? When you guys are saying call, are you talking about getting on the show? That's to get on the show. But if you want to talk about sales as far as from a career standpoint, there's career counseling. This is actually the one-on-one communication, interpersonal communication, which is hell of a deal, man. But yeah, I don't know what you're asking for, Deborah, but I do have some time. If you can get on, I don't know if you're asking, can you get on the show? I got a couple more minutes. Yeah, product knowledge, overcoming. What most people don't know is how to shut up. When the customer gives you a buying signal, shut up. Stop presenting, hand the contract, send the pen. Selling past the point of the close. I don't know how many times I've seen rookie salespeople who are in their presentation and the customer says, sounds good, let's get started. And they're like, hold up, I only got 3 more pages to present. I'm like, if you don't shut up and hand them that iPad and let them sign. Get on the show. There's the link to the show. There's the link to the show. Yes, there's the link to the show. Yeah. Learning when to stop presenting. Appreciate it, Daryl. Deron, you're right, man. Sales is everything, fam. Sales is, I tell you, man, sales is, and it's a great way to make yourself feel like the man because you get a real-time assessment of where you are. You don't have to wait for an annual performance review. You get a real-time assessment. You get a real-time assessment of where you rank. Okay, we need to do more shows like these. Okay, I'll see what I can do about doing it more in the daytime.
Hello?
Deborah.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I am well. What
Okay,
can I do? I'm
thank
good.
you for
Go ahead.
letting me call in. So I am doing sales right now. I am also trying to get my own business off the ground. You were talking about leadership. The sales part is not what I struggle with. The deal falls apart because I'm not used to having a leadership role. This is something that I haven't had to do before. I do have a mentor. I do have coaches. Basically, my mentor told me he's gotten me as far as he can get me. It's just something I have to experience by doing this on my own. He says, I'm smart. I could figure it out. It's just, it doesn't come together for me. And you were talking about how women, they could get to a certain point with leadership. It's men that can do it better. As a woman, my question is, how can I get to a better place as to where I'm more aggressive and more of a leader?
Okay, so one, I want to make sure you said you're in sales right now, yes?
It's for my own business, but I also do have a sales shop I work at where I do regular sales. But for my own business, I'm also doing sales. It's just with my own business, I have to manage a team to get everything done. I do have, I'm trying to build a team. trying
Okay,
to get
okay,
A
okay, okay.
players together.
Let me make it simple. So you have your own business and you also work for a company.
Yes.
The company, do you have it? Are you, is that where you have the mentor?
No, the mentor is for my own business. I paid for that, everything on my own, the
Okay.
mentor, the
So what
coaches,
kind of business, what industry are you in your own business?
real estate.
Okay, real estate. Um, which one, which your own or the company, which has the highest income potential for you?
Real estate.
And how long have you been working for this company?
The company I've been working at, I've been there for about a year.
Is it inside sales or outside sales?
Inside sales,
Is it business to business or business to consumer?
business to consumer.
So not a lot of growth potential.
Correct.
So it's basically telemarketing. Okay, so you're an outside salesperson in a real estate competitive market, and your issue is you saying something about leadership. When you're out, can you?
Correct.
Okay, so are you trying to lead other people to sell for you? Is that what your goal is?
So my goal is eventually lead other people to sell for me, but I need to work as a leader in a team with other people so everything comes together. So I
Okay,
need the title company. I
okay,
need the
okay. So okay. So you talk a lot. So I'm gonna tell you that's one thing, you talk a lot. So, and that's not an insult, it's just an analysis. So if you say your ultimate goal is to lead other people, so right now you can do the job can you do the job you're going to be leading other people to do?
yes.
Okay, so now it's about learning leadership skills. So you have a mentor, you say you have a coach.
Yes.
How long have you had the actual coach?
I've had these coaches here since about September.
Okay, and what kind of outcomes are the coaches tracking you? What kind of outcomes are you tracking for with your coaching?
Basically, as of this point right now, they've gotten me to the point where I know what I need to get done. I have a clear path. It's just me on my own trying
Okay,
to
so
do.
right now, what I'm telling you right now, you could deal with communication coaching because you struggle with making a clear answer. I'm gonna repeat back to what I asked you. What outcomes do they have you tracking for right now? And basically what you said to me was, basically right now, in a nutshell, what they have me on is really more of my own issue. That is a bunch of gobbledygook.
Okay, let me pull
Salespeople,
up.
no, listen. Salespeople speak clearly, concisely, directly. The more words you use, especially as a woman, the more a man is going to shut down. We start to hear white noise.
Okay,
Becoming a more effective communicator. Use less words. Answer a direct question with a direct answer. A yes/no question requires a yes/no answer.
okay,
I don't need to hear the backstory and the why, because it seems like you're speaking from your feelings or a stream of consciousness, and that is not inspired leadership.
okay.
Okay, so let's try it again. You have a mentor.
Yes.
How long have you had your mentor?
I've had my mentor about the same time the coaches since September.
Okay, so right there, I want you to listen to what you done. I said, you have a mentor? Yes. How long have you had your mentor? I've had a mentor about the same time I've had my coaches, so that's back in September. The answer is really what? 4 months.
Okay,
Do you see that?
yes.
That's a problem. Huge.
Okay,
You're
that
paying
makes
a
sense.
mentor. And you have a mentor and you're paying coaches. And if they can't tell you that, you need better coaches.
Okay,
Being in charge doesn't mean you need to use a lot of words. You need to get
okay.
to the point. Keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. Talk to people like they're for. Are you married?
No,
Ever been married?
No.
Any children?
No.
Age?
33.
All right. Ever been around children?
Yes.
You have nieces, nephews, anything like that?
Cousins?
Cousins? Little kids?
Yes.
You know you have to talk to little kids very simply, right?
Yes.
Same way you got to talk to most people, very simply.
Okay.
This is a leadership skill. This is what makes men more effective leaders. We get directly to the issue. We cut through and get to the point. That's number one. Number two, we speak with authority, because if you're going to lead someone, they have to be confident in the leader's direction. So it's not that women can't do it. It's most women seem to be agreeable before they tend to want to be leaders. This is a communication issue, and it can be overcome. It's going to require practice, though. Got it?
Okay, I'm writing it down. You said get to the point and stop being agreeable.
Well, that's just the overview. Understand something. That bullet point is not going to do you any real good. This is something that's going to have to be drilled with a communications coach, somebody like myself.
Okay.
You're not going to be able to read books, because you notice how I was able to stop you. You need
Yes.
someone who's going to be able to stop you right then and diagnose what the issue is.
Okay.
You said you're 33?
Yes.
Okay. Most burgeoning new leaders suffer from not feeling like they've earned it yet. Not really feeling like they, I don't want to say belong, but it's like it's almost like you're trying to cajole people. Come on, guys, I got the best data. So it really should make a decision. What do people follow? People follow leaders, and they don't follow titles. They follow courage. So you got to ask yourself, what am I inspiring people when I'm talking to them and attempting to lead them? It can't be data, facts, and figures. Again, this can be learned. You've been to church before, yes?
Yes.
Great. Preachers do it all the time. Preachers do it all the time. They make you feel something. And regardless of if you do exactly what they say, they make you feel something. Got
Okay.
it?
Yes. Thank you for your help.
No
I really
problem.
appreciate it.
I'm going to put the link down in the description. There's the career advice, and then there's interpersonal coaching. Both of those things, and I would say in about an hour, you will get a lot of work done, and certainly things to work with.
Okay, so interpersonal coaching. Okay.
The link's down there at the bottom, and you go to my website. It's interpersonal communications coach. Got it?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I got to run. I've done a show's been going on for a while. Hey, fitness mom. I got to go, guys. All right. Appreciate everybody.